three college national football titles, two as head coach of Ohio State, the other with Florida. The LA Rams will start Jared Goff at quarterback in Saturday's divisional round playoff game against the Packers. John Walford out for the game with a neck injury. Blake Bortles, the backup. Goff had thumb surgery 2 weeks ago, replaced Walford in last weekend's wildcard win at Seattle. Former St. Louis Rams and Hall of Famer quarterback Kurt Warner on how the elements at Lambeau could affect Goff.
The balls get a little more slick depending on what exactly the weather is like, if there's any snow. And so being able to control the ball is really, really difficult, especially if you're not at full strength. So I think it's going to be a real challenge for Jared Goff.
Kurt Warner on Keyshawn, J. Will, and Zubin. Alabama quarterback Mac Jones, wideout Jalen Waddle, defensive lineman Christian Barmore, and defensive back Patrick Surtain have all declared for the NFL Draft. ESPN's Todd McShay projects all four will be first-round picks. In the NBA, early third quarter in San Antonio and on other ESPN radio outlets, the Spurs lead the Rockets 49-48. Houston playing their first game since trading James Harden to Brooklyn. 76ers have a 100-83 lead on the Heat in the fourth quarter. In Philly, Shake Milton, 23 points off the bench. Raptors in front of the Hornets, 83-74. Third quarter in Tampa. Kyle Lowry, a double-double for Toronto.
Lamar Jackson is off the playoff schneid. Are the Ravens a legit Super Bowl contender? We're talking about the NFL Super Wildcard Weekend with me, Greeny, starting 10 a.m. Eastern on ESPN Radio and ESPN+.
Isn't this a sports show?
I'm nothing if not smooth and professional.
And needy.
And extremely needy.
That's
Don't
fine.
nod so hard, Beards.
Almost entirely.
I want to eat a Jigglypuff! All right? I'll say it,
wait,
cowards!
hang on.
No!
Hang on.
No!
Hang on.
No! I want to eat a Jigglypuff!
This is Almost Entirely Sports with Joshua Brisco.
Sports! Sports! We're talking about sports! Pew, 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 pew.
Take the show with you by listening on the Sports Radio 810 mobile app at 810WHB.com or by searching for Almost Entirely Sports wherever you get your podcasts.
I looked at the Facebook comments earlier. No one said that we sucked yet today.
That's not an invite, people.
That's not an invitation! You go back into the hole from whence you came!
This is Almost Entirely Sports on Sports Radio 810 WHB.
I don't know why today this is true and yesterday it wasn't, but I really feel like we are in playoff football mode right now. That's going to be the gist of the next 3 hours of Almost Entirely Sports. Welcome in. Good to have full shows several nights in a row. Lots of room to stretch out, spread our wings, fly, crash, get up again. And we got the whole crew to do it here tonight. I'm Joshua Brisco. That is probably evident at this point. Rudy Salazar on the other side of the console. Beards McFly on the other side of the glass. What's my voice doing right now? A little flimmy today. I think that might be the Sonic that I inhaled like Kirby about 15 minutes ago, which I did write down at some point that I thought, probably not at the jump, but at some point, I think we should just sort of have a brief, honoring of how sneaky good Sonic is. I just think we take it for granted. At least I take it for granted because I went there a lot, like as a kid, and there's one literally across the street from here. And every time I'm like, oh yeah, this is actually delicious.
I'll never take it for granted. You remember when Bergram was on and basically talked about how Taco Bell was always there for him?
Yep.
When you growing up in Garnett, Kansas, and there are not a lot of options.
Yep.
You know what there was?
There's Sonic.
There was Sonic. And Sonic was the hangout spot. Every Friday night after the basketball game, you know what you did? Went to Sonic.
I had a number of times. There's always. All right, we're starting with this, I guess. There are one of the most sort of real challenges of like a young teenage group of friends is places you can go that don't cost money that also aren't one of your parents' houses. Mm-hmm. Sonic was also always there. One of our friends had a van. We would go hang out in the van. We would typically, we'd go play volleyball and then drive over to the Sonic, sit outside on the tables and everything. Sonic is a staple. And it's also maybe the most delicious of the fast foods. I went over, this is a question This is a question from Ryan on Twitch. Also, Iced Pyro just said the Dwayne Bow, which I don't know if that's doing a rainbow thing or if it's reminding us of the fact that it's Dwayne Bow it's Dwayne Bow week, basically. The famed Chief and Brown Dwayne Bow
This
honored here today.
This is his order at Sonic, is what he's saying. He gets the Dwayne Bow.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Iced Pyro. I
took me a
stampled over your joke.
It did take me a second, too. Yeah.
I'm sorry, Iced Pyro. I skipped over that because I am very high right now. Because I just got the same thing. Ryan asked what our order at Sonic is. The thing I've become a real fan of is the little toaster sandwich with the Texas toast and the sausage, and you got to get the tater tots. And I'm a big cherry limeade, strawberry limeade. Just depends on the day, whichever way the wind blows.
Mm-hmm.
Love a breakfast burrito. Tater tot. You know what? Tater tots today we're a little cold. I get it. We're all trying to get through our days.
It happens.
You guys got me tater tots in a pandemic. That's you know what? I'll take it. What's your Sonic order? And then we'll talk cheese browns.
So it's changed a little bit over the years.
I should eat Sonic every day leading up to the Dwayne Bow game.
I think my favorite Sonic order, because it's changed over the years. I think my favorite one I ever had is I used to get the chicken strip sandwiches, the $1. Then you get those chili cheese fries. You put the chili cheese fries on the chicken strip sandwich.
I was joking about being extremely high right now.
Oh yeah, that was the good stuff.
That is wow.
Chicken strip sandwich, 2 chicken strip sandwiches, medium chili cheese fries.
You gotta
good to go.
You gotta make Garnett work how you can, I guess.
That's what you doing, Garnett.
Wow, that is a Shaggy from Scooby-Doo order.
So good.
Beards, what's your Sonic order? I know you had a Sonic cup today.
I can't do that though anymore. I just don't get that metabolism.
Yeah, right.
Don't got that metabolism.
Your heart just starts really getting a little burn sensation. Beards?
Usually either I'll do the popcorn chicken.
Yeah.
It's usually pretty good. They've got the pretzels that they've been doing now, like little pretzel sticks or whatever. Those have been quite good.
Did you go by today, Beards? Because they were $1 today. $1 pretzels.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Oh, really?
I went by and I just wanted a Coke, so I got a Coke.
Yeah, they're $1 pretzel sticks.
I didn't know that. Now I'm upset that I didn't get one.
Rudy's ordering like Shaggy from Scooby-Doo. Beards is on Coke right now. Tonight's show's going to be interesting.
Sometimes I get a cherry Coke. Sometimes I get a cherry limeade. Just
whichever way the wind blows.
Yeah,
I do
doesn't
like
even matter.
When they do 50 cent corn dogs day. Go get a couple corn dogs.
Corn dogs are always good. The tater tots are always good.
I only eat corn dogs like once a year, and it's usually like the one day where I'm like, oh, it's 50 cent corn dog day at Sonic. I'll swing by and get a few.
All the ice cream is good. This is not a sponsored beginning of this show, but if you're a potential advertiser listening right now, do you know how little it takes for us to talk about how great you are for 6 minutes? Just make good food and give it to us.
What are we doing for Slims for all these years?
Just give us anything.
Enjoying their delicious product.
It could just be like napkins that we probably talk about you.
That's probably true.
Food. We just be like, sure.
Just a handful of Sonic mints.
I'll take some plastic forks. That'd be great.
Would it be great?
Yeah, it'd be great. I'd be thrilled. I don't have to do dishes now for like 2 weeks. Just use the plastic forks.
Next hour, we'll talk to Pete Smith. He covers the Browns for Sports Illustrated and Browns Digest. We'll talk to him about the game this weekend. I'm writing down that I need to ask a series of... I need to ask how he remembers the Dwayne Bowe era, because the Dwayne Bowe era here was really important to me. I can only imagine that's also true for pretty much every Cleveland Browns fan.
One of my favorite Chiefs and Browns of all time.
100%.
Yeah.
Not even a question. I don't know why this was the case, but what was he? Because he was drafted in 2007, I think. I think there was something about the Chiefs drafting.
Right. Maybe like 2006.
I think it's 07.
Yep, 2007.
That was just a big year for me, like really getting into football. I was a big baseball kid, kind of before that point, and I had gone to games and watched games.
Big baseball boy.
Big baseball boy. Triple B. I was big baller brand before it was a thing yet. But I just got very excited thinking about the Chiefs just drafting a wide receiver, which may inform kind of all of my biases from that point until now. May have always just been through the lens of somebody who really liked watching quarterbacks and receivers more than anything else, even though we grew up, watching Priest Holmes and Larry Johnson and Jamal Charles. I don't know. I don't know how all of those wires crossed, but
it's just.
But Dwayne Bowe is great.
Intellect.
That's right. I just have a refined palate.
What fun is. Honestly, what it is? It's Madden. Madden
That's
is
probably
what,
right.
I think Madden's what is like has made, especially for us, the throwing, kind of like the throwing generation. Because you know what's not fun? running the ball.
Running the ball? No, it's not fun. Unless you have Jamal Charles, and that expanded to the real-life version also. Jamal Charles plays by different rules. Anyway. We have a number of things from this game that have kind of popped up today, and some stuff from yesterday, and some stuff from the days to come. And the one sort of newsworthy thing, we got some audio from today, and honestly, we're going to play by ear exactly how excited I am to have a larger, like, Kareem Hunt conversation.
Well, should I open up all this audio?
Yeah, we're not going to do it right now. What I think we should do first, actually, is fix the framing on our video feed. Got some space above my head. You can bring it down a
It's
skosh.
fine.
You can bring it down a skosh.
I'm not trying to give you a haircut.
Just bring it down a skosh.
I'm not trying to give you a haircut.
While you do that, while you fix it, Beards, I'll tell everybody that you can watch the show
Doesn't look very good.
in a variety of places. Well, that might be my fault. You can watch the show in a variety of places and see, like, whenever Beards intentionally does a worse
You look like
job.
such a small boy with this shot because there's so much space above your head.
Yeah.
You look kind of like a small boy.
That's about to change if you watch what Beards has done since then. So Beards, it's sort of funny to me that my thing is like, hey, could you just like refine it a little? Because you've done 90% of your job well. Could you get it to 100% for me? And you're like, no, I can go to 12% though if you'd like.
Beards, on the Facebook feed, he looked like a small boy. Now he looks like a bald boy.
You've got to account for the graphic at the bottom. I just don't feel like it should be that hard. I just want you to try. I just was like, hey,
there.
Just trying to point it out. That's better. It's too close now. I want people to see our killer snowman and whatnot. I just don't think it should be this hard. If you want to see all the visual jokes that Beards is doing right now, you can watch the show in a variety of places. Facebook.com/sportsradio810, Twitch.tv/sportsradio810, YouTube.com/810WHB. All of those places you can watch the show now, which is great because we do really like the visual part of the show. Beards more than anyone. He either hates it or loves it, and there's no in between. But you can watch it there, and also if you missed any of the show ever, you can get all the podcasts just wherever you get your podcasts, and aes.show is the little instant link to kind of the splash page, so you can check it all out there. Also, basically every show at this point, somebody says, how long have you guys been on Twitch? Which is great. It's a great question. I love that question because it has not been very long. But now, top of the show, you can tune in whenever we're live. Go check out the 810 Twitch and see if we're there, and we will be. Did you go back to where you were previously, Beards?
I don't think so.
Can you just kick it down a half inch? This isn't really something I do want to have to do on the show. I just sort of wanted to point it out.
I think it's better.
Anyway, you should open all that audio, Beards. We'll hold on to it.
2 clips?
What?
I see 2 clips.
Is that a joke?
No.
There are 5 in the Google Doc.
Well, hold on.
We don't have to do this right now, Beards. We can do this. We can. I know of 2 folders there'll be, and we can figure it out during the break. Just turn off your microphone and the incredibly loud fan behind you. Thank you. Sorry for shouting.
Somebody's in a sabotage mood today.
All the audio is in the Google Doc that you have access to, and if it's not in the folder where it should be, I was doing a lot of folder moving today, and some of it may have gotten moved into a different folder by accident, and I'll be able to find them in moments if they're not available. But we're not going to do any of them this segment. Let's all take a deep breath. I was worried that Rudy wasn't going to physically be able to exhale.
Breathe in for 3 seconds, hold for 3 seconds, breathe out for 3 seconds.
So on the news front from today, a few things, really it's all on the injury front that I think is going to be relevant both for this game this weekend and also, knock on wood, I suppose, in the weeks to come. Clyde Edwards-Helaire was a limited participant in practice yesterday. Today, he did not practice at all. Both of the last 2 days, Willie Gay Jr. and Sammy Watkins did not practice. They've not practiced at all this week. Clyde was a limited participant on Wednesday. Clyde practicing Wednesday felt like a nice little sort of positive beacon. As much as I generally think, that like the Chiefs' backfield will be fine, which is going to come into kind of what I hope they do with him next year. I still think, they should try to get him as healthy as possible and use him because he is a member of the team now. So that's, that should go without saying, but probably doesn't. But seeing him practice yesterday was encouraging. Seeing him kind of take a step back today, even if that was expected, Even if they thought, hey, we're going to get you out there on a limited basis on Wednesday, Thursday we're going to take you back off the field again and kind of check out your hip and your leg and all that stuff. That is a totally reasonable way for these 2 days to have played out with Clyde Edwards-Helaire. But regardless of what the strategy was, I have a hard time envisioning Clyde playing against the Browns in 3 days. It just doesn't seem terribly likely. And at this point, the fact that he even had some practice this week, I think we should probably take as a positive. And look, if he's a full participant tomorrow, he'll probably play. I'm not telling you to go try to find a place to bet money on who's going to be active and inactive in this game, but just with the general sort of precedent that is typically set by the Chiefs, if you can't get a day of full practice, your odds of being active on game day are going to be tough. Even only practicing on Friday is really difficult. Eric Fisher did that before the Saints game, where he did practice just that Friday and then played. This is a series of unique situations. Eric Fisher had some sort of back thing that I think we can all assume to some extent was going to get better with rest. I'm thinking of the word inflammation, not that that's actually descriptive of what was going on in Eric Fisher's back, but you think if we can just not put workload on this for a while, maybe it'll get to a point where he could play through it, and he did. Asking Clyde to do that with with a series of terrifying looking lower body injuries seems like something that you want to play a little bit more of the long game there. Even if it's limited practice, no practice, full practice on Friday, is that something you want to try to push your rookie running back through at the end of his first season? I don't know. And also, again, I think the Chiefs' backfield will be fine against the Browns and down the line, whatever. Clearly, they would like to have Clyde. That's why they drafted him. But I think at this point, the biggest possible risk is to put him out there before he's fully ready. Andy Reid said they're not going to do that, which makes sense. I don't think they're going to do that. But don't freak out if it ends up being a Le'Veon Bell, who should be fully healthy, Darrell Williams, Darwin Thompson backfield on Sunday. If that is the case, it'll be just fine unless any of them turn the ball over. That's basically it. If they can do their job and not turn the ball over, Chiefs offense is going to be totally fine. With Clyde, without Clyde, they'll figure it out. Alternatively, I am left a bit concerned and a bit bummed about Sammy Watkins at this point. Not necessarily, take the Browns' money line concerned about it. But even looking down the road when they have to play the Bills or the Ravens, assuming they beat the Browns, which I'm assuming, not a guarantee, I'm assuming it. If they end up in the Super Bowl and they need to try to have one more play than the Packers or whatever, having Sammy Watkins being a part of the rotation and being a key portion of this offense is, again, why the Chiefs brought him back. It's why the Chiefs signed him in the first place. It's why the Chiefs brought him back on the restructured deal this year. There is real value in Sammy Watkins. There was a Pro Football Talk story that was written 2 weeks ago, I think, 3 weeks ago. Well, it would have been 2. And it was essentially saying the Chiefs don't think that Sammy Watkins' injury is serious and he should be fine for the playoffs. That doesn't appear to be exactly true at this point. Don't know if anything changed, if there are any setbacks, if it's taken longer than usual. But again, you could say, well, he's a veteran. If he practices on Friday, could he play against the Browns? Eric Fisher did that. Sammy Watkins and Eric Fisher have outrageously different injury sort of portfolios. Eric Fisher obviously missed some significant time last year, but typically, I don't know if he's ever missed a game, like that kind of stood on it, like a game. He again missed several in a row last year. But unless you're talking about really big injuries, I think Eric Fisher is typically just out there, which is a tremendous thing to be able to say about your left tackle. Sammy Watkins every year has a ankle or a hamstring or a calf issue. Like just every year, there's one or two of those. And last year, the Chiefs basically hit snooze on Sammy Watkins a number of times leading up to the playoffs. Then he was fully healthy for the playoffs and was incredibly helpful to their Super Bowl run. Even this year, I think he probably could have come back a week earlier than he did. They hit the snooze button, though, because they wanted Sammy Watkins to be healthy for the playoffs. Now, it seems like that may be out of their hands. Because maybe you think that one more week of rest and he'll be fully ready to go for the AFC Championship game. But we are now in the win or go home category of games here. And I'm not sure what to think about where Watkins is as someone who has not practiced yet this week, coming off of 2 bye weeks for him. I just don't know. My biggest concern isn't that I don't know, it's that I wonder if the Chiefs know. If they feel good about his timeline, or if he is, as Andy Reid said Mitchell Schwartz was, literally day to day. Which everyone just if you got a bad taste in your mouth, everybody needs to just kind of grab a drink, kind of get that taste out of your mouth.
My soul feels day to day.
Yeah, I get that. I think we all are. That phrase, if you are new to the gathering here, Eric Berry was literally day to day for months, really, right? I mean, a couple of months with his
some say
Haglund's deformity.
Some say we're all just day to day our whole life.
We're all literally day to day.
It's all just day to day.
But Eric Berry
it was a Haglund deformity.
Is it possessive?
I
think it's possessive.
I think it is possessive. Yes. Yes, it is.
Essentially, Eric Berry had, to put it sort of crassly, a talon growing out of his heel, essentially. Like it's a little like bone bump.
A bone spur.
Is
like
it a bone spur different?
I think it is a bone spur like growing out of your heel, essentially. I think
that might be right.
I could be wrong. For some reason I feel like that's what I remember reading back in the day.
It would make sense because that's also where like Spurs go. As they're up on the Rockets right now by 4 on TNT. Thank you, Beards, for having this on the screen.
Good play on words.
Thank you. But Eric Berry had that, and is also coming off of the Achilles issues and all of that. The calf and the heel and the Achilles, those are all playing in the same space, and it really you couldn't help but be made squeamish by how that was all unfolding over the course of the 2018 season. And by the end, he did play in the playoffs, and there were some issues. Still, he looked like a guy who hadn't played football in a while.
Trying to cover Gronk.
And that didn't work.
Gives me nightmares.
Yeah, Bob Sutton didn't help. None of it helped. None of it was good, per se.
Not good.
But that phrase now has been forever poisoned because that was just such an aggressively obscene situation and amount of time there. Just bonkers.
They just call it a bony enlargement.
Can you say that on the radio?
It's a medical. It's in the medical book.
There's a lot of medical things I don't think I would say on the radio.
Haglund's deformity is often called pump bump. Because the rigid backs of pump-style shoes can create pressure that aggravates the enlargement when walking.
What was the other term you used for it?
Pump bump.
Before that one?
Oh, it's a bony inflammation. Or bony enlargement.
Yeah, that's right. Okay. Wow. If that was a joke that you would have written, I would have given you a standing ovation. The fact that you're just reading Wikipedia or WebMD or whatever is pretty remarkable.
I'm on ncbi.gov.
Sure. .gov. Yeah. .gov sounds real.
It is the U.S. National Library of Medicine, National Institutes of Health. Seems legit.
It really does. But the thing that whole process, again, that's why that phrase has gotten so poisoned. But to go back to Watkins and how the Chiefs are kind of measuring wherever he's at and if they even know, The one thing that, and this is something that we were going to try to have Seth Kaiser on tonight because our schedule, we didn't have a show on Tuesday. We'll get him back next week. But one thing that he and I talked a little bit about, along with Nate Taylor on Times Ours this morning, is what the impact of Sammy Watkins is. And essentially, the way that I would boil it down as much as possible is to say that Sammy Watkins is the element of the Chiefs' offense that punishes a defense for double teaming Travis Kelce and Tyreek Hill. Because if you do not pay double attention to those two guys, you're asking to get beat. You're just asking to get beaten if you do not give help on both Kelce and Hill. And there are times when DeMarcus Robinson has made the defense pay for that. There are times that McCole Hardman has made a defense pay for that. But above all else, and above anyone else in this roster, Sammy Watkins is the guy that you say, hey, we're going to get you some one-on-one matchups, and we're going to score 35 points because they cannot cover everybody. Which is, by the way, also Seth pointed this out. That's pretty much, think about how the Patriots have defended the Chiefs. You give safety help to whoever's covering Tyreek Hill. You bracket Hill. You have somebody hit Kelce off the line, and then you have basically the rest of your team take off their helmets like Myles Garrett and just bash Travis Kelce with them, because the refs are eventually going to stop calling him. They're not going to throw a flag on every play. So you just, with a club of your helmet, are just beating Travis Kelce as he still catches a pass 8 yards downfield and takes it for 16. Because he's the beast in 300. You know what I'm talking about? Have you guys seen 300?
It's been a while since I've seen it.
It's also been a while for me, but I just had the thought of I feel like he could just kind of truck through anything.
The beast.
I don't know. I can't remember what he's called. Like a giant of some sort, but with I think fangs or horns in his head.
So just typed in the beast in 300 and it got me to Robert Mallet, who is 7 foot, 350 pound, very, very strong man.
He is.
He was in 300, Sherlock Holmes, Pacific Rim. Oh, he was in Deadpool too.
Uber Immortal is
Hercules.
the fictional character that I was thinking of. Because you could hit him, because you could hit him with a bunch of football helmets and he would continue catching passes and then running.
Would not affect him
for
at all.
12 yards after the catch.
Man,
exactly.
7 foot, 350 pounds. And the picture I'm looking at, there's a lot of muscle there.
Yeah, that's exactly right. But, and so, that's how the Patriots have defended the Chiefs. That's probably your best chance to defend the Chiefs' offense. And you have to get pressure on Mahomes with 4. I got some very good Browns defense stats that I'm saving here that we're going to get to in a second. They're really good stats.
He accidentally punched Robert Downey Jr. in the face when filming Sherlock Holmes.
That felt great. I bet RDJ popped right back up from that one. That doesn't sound pleasant at all.
No.
But without Sammy Watkins, he is, again, he's the payoff to everything that the offense does. And again, I think, listen, it wouldn't hurt my feelings any if the Chiefs would have drafted a receiver in the first round this year and try to replace that Sammy Watkins role. I expect them to draft a receiver in the first 3 rounds this upcoming year, or at least a pure pass catcher. They might find someone in free agency, whatever. They're gonna add another third pass catching weapon that can benefit from these matchups that are created. But right now, that guy is Watkins, or it's supposed to be, and. What you can say whatever you want about how you feel about, and listen, this is gonna ready. Are you guys ready for me to get in hashtag trouble? Ready for me to say something that's gonna get me hashtag canceled?
Always.
I know you love Byron Pringle, but if he was gonna be that dude, he would have been by now. The Chiefs would have used him that way. I think that's honestly true in some way for DeMarcus Robinson, and it's pretty close to being true for McCole Hardman. But Byron Pringle can come in and have a big flash moment, and that's what he should that's great. Love it. You love to see that. But I don't think we're gonna see Byron Pringle be Sammy Watkins' replacement next year, nor do I think it'll be DeMarcus Robinson. I think DeMarcus Robinson is your 4, and Byron Pringle as your 5 is wonderful.
Depending on how things go, Pringle is Robinson's replacement. Like, that's what his ceiling is.
That's right.
Which is nothing wrong with that. Like,
Nope.
the Chiefs need that in their offense.
Especially if you do pass catchers and not receivers, you might kind of in the rankings there.
Just a capable guy who and honestly,
he'll have big games.
You could probably make the argument Pringle's better in that route because we haven't seen him have like some of those like a mental lapse,
the back breaking drops and whatnot. Yeah, and the route confusion, all that.
Running backwards a couple of times. Which, and you're like, hey, if you just went forward, you got the first down.
By the way, if the Chiefs thought that I will never tell you that like coaching staffs are infallible because I certainly don't believe that. Obviously, you heard us talk about Pete Carroll last night. But if the Chiefs thought that Byron Pringle could do DeMarcus Robinson's job better than DeMarcus Robinson is doing it, he would be doing it. He might be able to do that and continue to evolve and all that stuff, but I think that's actually a good call, Rudy. That maybe he takes DeMarcus Robinson's spot. He's not going to take DeMarcus Robinson's spot and Sammy Watkins' spot next year. Enjoy having him on the roster. Don't ask him to be more than he needs to be. That's all totally fine.
Go nuts when he has that big game.
Absolutely. We did it for DeMarcus Robinson, and once or twice he's had 1 or 2 games in his career where he's Jerry Rice, and then then it's not anymore, which is sort of the nature of the beast from 300. But if you don't have Sammy Watkins, or you don't have a healthy Sammy Watkins, you're kind of spinning the wheel. You're kind of taking whatever's behind door number 2. And you have to hope that you can find matchups that you want to exploit as all that attention is being paid to Kelsey and Hill. And even in some of the larger scale measurements on this is relatively evident, I think. You can find the games where even whenever Sammy Watkins isn't the one who's benefiting from the structure of the offense, the rest of the offense is moving better with Sammy Watkins out there because sometimes you have to respect him enough to pay extra attention to him in a way that teams are not going to do for DeMarcus Robinson, and then it gives a little opening for Tyreek Hill or Travis Kelce on a play where they end up one-on-one. So I'm a little bit worried about Sammy Watkins not playing against the Browns again. Not bet the money line, but something that bears keeping an eye on. And if the offense looks at some points like it's missing a gear or it looks a bit constipated at some point, there's no better word I could have used there. We're just going to say constipated. Then you might have a first sort of thought of where you look, and it's Sammy Watkins isn't out there. I'm not that worried about Clyde. He just needs to get healthy, and I'm glad that his injury wasn't as season-ending as it looked to be at the time. Willie Gay not playing is not ideal because I don't know if you guys have heard this, but the Browns do have some sort of fast, physical running backs who are going to spend their entire day pointing at Ben Neiman from their own backfield and just throughout the entire play, continuing with an outstretched finger pointed directly at Ben Neiman as they are running the routes, taking the handoff, pointing at the hole they're going to run through, and then it's just going to be a heat-seeking missile towards Ben Neiman. I would like to have Willie Gay out there, but I also would have liked to have Willie Gay out there for a while, which, by the way, just so you know that I'm not incapable of seeing my own biases here, if the Chiefs thought that Willie Gay would be better at that position than Ben Neiman was, he'd be out there right now. I could also question that, but, Steve Spagnuolo probably knows Steve Spagnuolo's defense better than I do on some level.
Maybe.
Like 1 or 2 places.
Maybe not.
He also keeps playing Dan Sorensen, so I don't know. He keeps playing Dan Sorensen single high, so I don't know, maybe not. We need to take a break. We have a bunch of comments and things from our various video streams, so we will take some of those whenever we come back. If you're not watching in the video sphere, you can do so on our Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch channels. You can also text us on the text line, which Rudy, I think, has up somewhere, right?
I do.
913-912-4810. You can even tweet at all of us. At JB Brisco, at Not That Rudy, at Beards McFly, or just skip right to the top and go at Sports Radio 810. I got a good Browns defense stat. We'll take some questions and comments on the other side of the break.
Want more Almost Entirely Sports? Watch the show live on the Sports Radio 810 Facebook page.
Small business owners don't have the patience for nonsense, especially when it comes to their internet provider. They want the best services for the best price. Simply put, that's Spectrum Business. They give you great value, zero nonsense. Just call 833-919-2121. You'll get fast, reliable internet and phone with no contracts and no hidden fees, all for a price that could cut your bill in half. Spectrum Business. Call today, 833-919-2121.
Welcome to Elevated Automotive, Kansas City's most exciting new dealership. Infiniti of Kansas City has acquired Nissan to deliver Elevated Automotive, an impeccable experience featuring two smart and luxurious brands in one convenient location at I-35 and 67th Street, continuing the five-star treatment and sales experience clients have come to expect from Infiniti of Kansas City. Visit Kansas City's premier automotive shopping and service experience in the expanded Infiniti of Kansas City showroom under their new name, Elevated Automotive. Follow online on Facebook, Insta, and elevatedautomotive.com.
Get ready for the Chiefs and Browns with all-day coverage on Sports Radio 810 WHB. It begins at 8 a.m. with Chiefs Tailgate, then Josh Brisco hosts our Red Zone Playoff Special, and Seren takes over at 11 with the Central Bank of the Midwest pregame show. After the game, tune into the best post-game show in town, featuring the latest from Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes and your phone calls. The best Chiefs coverage is right here on your home for the NFL playoffs, Sports Radio 810 WHB.
Another reading from the Golden Oak Lending Book of Mortgage Lingo. What is Zipline? It's Golden Oak's fast and easy online mortgage application tool that leaves you with more time to take the dog for a long evening walk.
Good dog.
Plan a family movie night.
I get to pick the movie.
No, it's my turn.
Is not.
Okay, double feature it is.
And still have time to clean up the popcorn you weren't planning on sharing.
Toby.
Bad dog. At Golden Oak Lending, we speak mortgage and love translating it for our customers throughout their lives. Right now, rates are at a historic low 2.5%. Take advantage of today's low rates by visiting us online at goldenoaklending.com to use Zipline, a simple tool that will make your next home loan or refi a breeze. And remember, at Golden Oak, we never charge for a home appraisal if we can't close your loan. NMLS 114937, 2.5% fixed, 2.655% APR on a conventional 15-year mortgage with 30% equity and approved credit. JLB Corporation, 8595 College Boulevard, Overland Park, Kansas.
Breathe cleaner, fresher air with help from Menards. Indoor air can be 2 to 5 times more polluted than outdoor air. Best Air's 4-inch pleated air filters have a specialized filtration that ensures the best overall performance of your HVAC system, giving you cleaner air throughout your home. Pleated air filters are available in a variety of sizes for $14.99. Save big money now during Menards Project Day sale. Prices are good until January 16th.
Save big money at Menards.
This is Almost Entirely Sports with Joshua Brisco.
You know what you do after you run the ball on 1st and 10 and you get 0 yards? You run that ball again. You establish that run.
On Sports Radio 810 WHB.
We have a large number of comments from our various feeds. A lot of Twitch action today, which makes me very happy. Shout out to everybody who's gotten into the Sports Radio 810 Twitch channel. We're actually reorienting some of our stuffed animals. You can go ahead and move.
Yeah, it was
whatever works
really
for you.
For sure, what you wanted.
I just needed the dolphin to move. It was blocking my very exciting new shirt that I really wanted Twitch's validation from. Okay. I feel like this is a shirt that the Twitch audience would most appreciate. If you want to see it, you know, twitch.tv/sportsradio810. Also Facebook or YouTube. Lots of emojis, which has made me very happy. Chili Cheese on Twitch has put together an entire little octopus of 5 different emoji. This is great. I love it here. I very much enjoy the big Twitch energy. A few things here that have been brought up throughout the various chats. I think. Nope, it was Chili Cheese, actually, who mentioned that Anthony Hitchens is back. Yes, that is huge. He was activated off the COVID list on Monday, I believe. He was back in the building a few days prior. He had tweeted about that. But yeah, listen, for all of the often deserved flack that we've given to Anthony Hitchens' performance, especially not this year, but the years prior, the contract given out, all that stuff, with him being the guy that has kind of set the marker for Steve Spagnuolo's defense, I think we have a pretty good idea of how important he is to keeping that defense running. And if in a year or two, Willie Gay can be the guy that does that, or someone else is the guy that does that, it won't be next year. Then great. But in the meantime, Anthony Hitchens is going to be in the middle of the defense. He's not Derek Johnson. He's not going to be Derek Johnson. He's not excellent in coverage. I think his contract has been bloated, all that, whatever, I get it. But having him out there to set the defense and to make a point of getting everything on the right tracks and keeping everything moving in that way is it's honestly hard to understate how important that can be. Someone on Facebook, we got to figure out what the empty username issue is.
Yeah, my best guess is we probably just need to delete the
disconnect, reconnect, little unplug it, plug it back in again, blowing the cartridge.
Yep.
But a Facebook commenter said Sammy's done after this season. I think he probably is done in Kansas City. I bet I would think he would end up getting a nice little contract somewhere else. He's still wildly talented.
That was Justin Riley, by the way.
Shout out to Justin. I think he is still wildly talented in a way that will be enticing to anyone who watches him play when he's healthy. Mm-hmm. But the health issue is a legitimate one. And listen, we've learned more about Sammy Watkins over the last year, especially, and just kind of like who he is and what he values and stuff. He's made enough money to decide that it's not worth it if he doesn't think it is, and he can keep playing if he wants to. But I think unless he says, hey, I really do love it in Kansas City, I don't want to go catch passes from Joe Burrow, I want to stay here and take a significantly lower price number, even than what he's rolling with this year, then maybe. But I have a hard time guessing that he'll do that. If he does, it would make you a little less nervous about, you could spend more money on your fourth receiver if your third receiver, because you're worried about his health and everything, is taking less money. Also from Chili Cheese on Twitch, just lots of good names. If you were to handicap the Browns of one player this week, who would it be? It's a fun question. It's a good question. I also think there are only two answers. I think it's clear. Rudy, will you find, please, who's the Browns' backup quarterback? Because I don't know.
Yeah, off the top of my head,
I'll tell you. I'll give you my three guys in order. One is Baker. I know that he's imperfect and all of that stuff. If you take pretty much any NFL team starting quarterback away, that's going to be the most pain you can levy on them. Washington may have preferred to have had to go without Alex Smith for Taylor Heineke for one game instead of losing Chase Young, but the Browns are not in that spot, and most teams aren't. What did you find, Rudy?
It is relevant name, Case Keenum.
All right.
Yeah. I did not know he was in Cleveland, but Case Keenum is in Cleveland.
Anyway, it's Baker 1. I think number 2 is Myles Garrett because of what he does for that defense.
See, I was going to say, I'm handicap players. I thought we were talking about quarterback because I was going to say Jarvis Landry might actually be the backup quarterback.
Did you? Oh, I see. Yeah. That's not what we were doing. So if you could take a player away, Baker is 1, Myles Garrett is 2, Jarvis Landry is 3. I think that's easy. Even if they only had one of their running backs, you kind of know my philosophy at this point in all likelihood. But certainly with having both of those guys, it's easier to lose Chubb or Hunt for one game because you have the other guy. If they had to lose their balance over the course of a whole year and the wear and tear then compounds and whatnot, which I think is legitimate, by the way. I think it's another reason to have, a stable of running backs you feel pretty good about. They obviously have 2 incredibly talented ones. For extenuating circumstances that we may end up talking about tonight, tomorrow. I don't know. We'll figure it out. But good question. I think that's my answer. Ice Pyro on Twitch says, do you think we'll see the same slow start jitters we saw against Houston last year because they know they're going to score at will? It's a good... And also, Chili Cheese has pointed out that Cody Parkey is the Browns' secret weapon. Do you know how startled I was to see Cody Parkey kicking for them last week? Wait a second. He's back? I know the kicker carousel in the NFL this year has been insane, but I didn't think Cody Parkey was going to get another gig, honestly.
If he puts one off the crossbar this game, man.
I hope. Oh God, I can't.
If he doinks one,
I would have a hard time watching it. I mean, if it helped the Chiefs win, then I guess I'd be fine with it. But I would rather the Chiefs just win and then him, make his field goals or whatever. What was the question? Oh, slow starts. I don't know. The Chiefs are certainly aware of it, and I do think that they, on some level, believe they can score whenever they want. But I think they also know that the sooner they go up 24-7, the closer the game is to being over. And you just leave yourself such a larger margin for error. The only way the Chiefs lose this game is if it starts like the Steelers game did, and even then, the Steelers made up some ground against Cleveland last week. It never got really, really close. It got close to feeling close, which is also the case in a couple of the Chiefs' one-possession wins they had earlier this year. Late in the year, but later than, or longer ago than right now, because that's how time works. But I don't know how to fully characterize what I think about like a slow start like that, because it's not like they're saving that or doing that on purpose. Like, I think they're going to come out with the first scripted 15 and try to really wreak some havoc. I don't think they enjoyed being down 1,000 points to the Texans and then having to come back that way. They obviously can. They obviously did. They obviously erased 3 double-digit leads over the course of the playoff run last year. But I don't think that it's fair to expect a slow start. I think that if it does play out that way, we have all seen enough Chiefs football to not freak out. But I also, again, even the Texans game, and I mean, I'm not looking at like a drive chart right now, but think about the number of issues that popped up that weren't even really like giving up a special teams touchdown isn't really a slow start as much as it's, again, kind of similar to what the Browns and Steelers did last week. It's some bonkers mistakes that one team capitalized on. And if the Chiefs have enough runway at the end still, they can still absolutely catch up to that. But it's a good question. And it's a smart thing to keep in mind. Z-Man says, I've seen too much Chiefs football to not freak out, which is very understandable. Those games can't hurt you anymore. We've moved past it, but also I understand. It'll be worth keeping an eye on if that does start off a little bit less explosively right out of the gate. A question from Iced Pyro: are they gonna blitz? It's a question that I'll answer whenever we come back. Radio Tease!
At JB Brisco, at Beards McFly, at Not That Rudy, at Sports Radio 810. Just do it already.
A KC tradition since 1957, Hereford House is a locally owned steakhouse that has served generations of Kansas Cityans. Hereford House exclusively serves certified Hereford beef, which has been proven to be naturally more tender and flavorful than other brands. All their steaks are aged 21 days, hand-cut daily, and grilled over an open charcoal flame. This process provides a wonderful aroma and delicious flavor that cannot be duplicated by any other cooking method. Hereford House, Leewood, Independence, Shawnee, and Zona Rosa.
Robert Brogdon Buick GMC in Olathe is your destination location for quality new and used vehicles. You'll find the area's largest inventory of new Buicks and GMCs, including the all-new 2021 GMC Yukon, plus a huge selection of hard-to-find models with a hassle-free customer experience. At Brogdon, they know your time is valuable, making sure to give you the fastest car buying experience. And Brogdon is an official GMC Business Elite dealer, serving the entire KC metro area with professional-grade vehicles for your fleet or commercial needs. Visit robertbrogdon.com. See him in person at I-35 in Santa Fe and Olathe.
At Central Bank of the Midwest, we are focused on building strong communities across Kansas City. I'm Bill Ferguson, President and CEO. Our strong roots began more than 100 years ago in the heart of the Midwest and continue today across 5 states and 67 communities. Central Bank of the Midwest brings you the best of both worlds, a strong community bank with the resources and technology to deliver a legendary banking experience. Central Bank of the Midwest, strong roots, endless possibilities. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Every weekday on Sports Radio 810, tune in to hear Kansas City's favorite local lineup. At 6 a.m., wake up with the Border Patrol with Stephen St. John and Nate Bucati. At 10, it's The Zone with Jason Anderson. Now at 2, get into the program with Soren Petro. And wrap up your day on Almost Entirely Sports with Joshua Brisco. Kansas City's hometown sports station. Sports Radio 810. WHB.
Get to Zarda Barbecue today and try my favorite sandwich, the Turkey Crunch. Only $5.99 for a limited time. Our turkey is deep fried, thin sliced, topped with melted provolone, 2 strips of bacon, house-made chipotle mayo, on a toasted Roma bun. This sandwich literally melts in your mouth. And don't forget to stop by the Hy-Vee Kitchen every Friday for Red Friday Zarda Barbecue specials to feed your tailgate. Zarda Barbecue, come get some.
The Kansas City Comets are back for their 11th season at Cable Dahmer Arena, and so is the energy and excitement of indoor soccer. Comets soccer is fast, furious, high-scoring action for the entire family, and parking is always free at Cable Dahmer Arena. Get your Kansas City Comets tickets today by calling 888-9-COMETS or by visiting Ticketmaster.com. That's 888-9-COMETS or Ticketmaster.com.
This is Almost Entirely Sports with Joshua Brisco.
This whole segment has been kind of the first quarter of Chiefs-Texans.
On Sports Radio 810, WHB.
Something that I just realized during the break that Rudy and I were discussing, I've now Googled the result of here. I believe that the Sports Radio 810 Twitch account should be within striking distance of getting custom emotes. So I will offer to the Twitch audience. What should they be? Gotta have a wiener dog for sure. We get a little Dick Justice. Mm-hmm. Do we all just do one with our faces? Oh, the little fire Elmo,
yeah.
Fire Elmo beards for sure. We got options, but I'll let the listening audience. You can also tweet in your suggestions.
Maybe like an AES flag with the colors.
That's not bad. You know what I realized after making all of the AES sort of like imagery and whatnot is it's like almost like beat for beat. It's the pansexual pride flag. But upside down, which I think might be even more like hot water. It's not like a, distress signal or like if you fly a flag upside down, like distress or like protest or something.
Yeah.
I just picked the colors and didn't think that I might be accidentally co-opting someone's sort of like pride flag.
Ooh, a couch emote.
Couch emote's very good. Couch emote is very, very, very good.
Mm-hmm.
That's a deep cut too.
Yep, that's from Chili Cheese.
That's really good. There was the question last segment of will the Browns blitz the Chiefs this weekend? Let me offer you guys some stats. We probably can't play NFL Films music due to copyright sort of restrictions and whatnot, so I will not. Beards, if at some point, could you please try to royalty-free NFL Films sounding music? At some point?
I'll do what I can.
Not right now, but just that, next time that you're thinking of what you can do to be productive. In the meantime, yeah, I'll go ahead. I saw you working. Welcome to a new episode of Fun with Stats. I have two stats for you, looking ahead at the Chiefs-Browns this weekend. The first one comes from Aaron Schatz of Football Outsiders. He tweeted, 2020 DVOA with 5+ pass rushers. Patrick Mahomes, the best quarterback in the sport against 5 or more pass rushers with a 78.2% 2020 DVOA. That's very good. Should not be surprising. We've talked about this many times over. Patrick Mahomes, don't blitz him. It's not going to work. But if you're the Cleveland Browns, their 2020 defensive DVOA with 5 or more pass rushers is 30th in the league. 41.5%. The Browns should super mega definitely not be blitzing Patrick Mahomes. They are not good whenever they blitz. Patrick Mahomes is great whenever he is being blitzed. They should not be blitzing.
I hope they blitz.
I do too.
God, I hope they blitz.
Another little Seth nugget, which is a thing I wish I could unsay right now, that he mentioned when I was in the podcast with him earlier. Since he's not on with us tonight, I'm gonna grab this nugget. Boy, this sucks. He was saying, looking at the Browns safeties, he wrote about it in The Athletic also. Of course, go read his stuff in The Athletic. The safeties, the Browns safeties are more kind of not old school run stuffing safeties, but a little more kind of leaning in that direction than being your roaming coverage guys by his eye. So what are they going to do with their safeties? This is a tweet from @MafiaNumbers, Mike Roblowski on Twitter. He has the EPA allowed when running cover 0, which means no safety help, Everybody's in man coverage, and you're probably blitzing at that point. You're probably bringing a lot of pressure. The Browns there as well have the worst defense in the NFL when running cover 0, and it's down there with the Titans, Jets, Falcons, Jags, Saints. It's rough down there. They really, really, really need to just focus on bracketing Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce, not blitzing, and never leaving their defensive backfield open. That's it. And I'm just going off of tendencies there. That's something that they have not been good at this year, that the Chiefs will absolutely obliterate if given the opportunity. The thing there, though, is that if they blitz twice on Sunday and there's no cover 0, well, that does cut out a few things that defense could do to try to give Patrick Mahomes some different looks. Do they try to bait him in some way and say, hey, we're showing cover 0, and then all of a sudden safety try back? Absolutely. That kind of stuff is going to happen. But something to look for whenever you're watching the game on Sunday, try to find the Browns safeties. Figure out who's back there and keep that in mind. See how many guys end up rushing Patrick Mahomes. And if the first number is 0 and the second number is 5 or more, that you're probably about to watch a big play, all things considered. We will get a little bit of a view of this game from the Cleveland perspective whenever we come back. Pete Smith of Browns Digest on Sports Illustrated will join us. We'll talk a little bit about Baker Mayfield, all of their weapons, Kareem Hunt's time in Cleveland, and, of course, how fondly he remembers Dwayne Bowe. That's next.
You're listening to Almost Entirely Sports with Joshua Brisco on Sports Radio 810 WHB.
A KC tradition since 1957, Hereford House is a locally owned steakhouse that has served generations of Kansas Cityans. Hereford House exclusively serves certified Hereford beef, which has been proven to be naturally more tender and flavorful than other brands. All their steaks are aged 21 days, hand-cut daily, and grilled over an open charcoal flame. This process provides a wonderful aroma and delicious flavor that cannot be duplicated by any other cooking method. Hereford House, Leawood, Independence, Shawnee, and Zona Rosa.
Get fired up, Kansas City, for a week-long event that's all about appreciating you, our guests. Red Door Wood-Fired Grill is so thankful for your loyal support this past year, and they'd like to say thank you with a special lunch and dinner menu, including free beignets on your next purchase. Pick 2 mouthwatering courses during lunch for only $15, or indulge in Red Door's 3-course dinner menu for just $30, featuring their popular wood-fired KC strip. Join us January 9th through 16th and reserve your table today at reddoorgrill.com. What are you waiting for, KC? Get in here.
Space Camper Cosmic IPA is a juicy hop blast of flavor. Citrusy and balanced, this is an IPA with a mission: to save the Earth, because it's the only planet with beer. You might not know it, but Boulevard Brewing Company has been passionate about taking care of our planet for decades. Between their zero-waste brewery to Ripple Glass, Boulevard has been making great beer you can feel great about. Stock up on Space Camper Cosmic IPA today. Boulevard Brewing Company, Kansas City, Missouri.
With twice as much time in the home this past year, it's time for a deep cleaning. Zero-Res Carpet Cleaning is the leader in no-residue cleaning, proven to remove more dirt than any other method out there. Your carpets will look brighter, feel cleaner, and because of the Zero-Res no-residue method, they stay cleaner longer. Start the new year right, and let's clean 2020 out of our homes. Right now, get 3 rooms clean for just $93. Call or schedule online at zeroResKC.com.
No one gives you more NFL and Chiefs coverage than Sports Radio 810 WHB. Listen every night this week at 7 p.m. to The Red Zone with Todd Lebo as he previews the upcoming AFC Divisional Playoff game against the Cleveland Browns. Hear from Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes, NFL analyst Jeff Shadia and Matt Derrick, and all of our Sports Radio 810 on-air staff as they break down the big game. It's showtime.
Let's dominate!
On Sports Radio 810 WHB.
When do you think about your insurance? Chances are it's when you're paying your bill or filing a claim. At Briar Payne Mead, we always think about your insurance. It's what we do. Buying a car, having a baby, building a home, starting a business. Then it's time to call BPM at 913-681-099 or visit us on the web at bpminsurance.com. Great service and extremely competitive rates from the top-rated companies. Briar Payne Mead, 913-6810-099. That's 913-6810-099.
Kansas City's favorite sports station, 20 years and counting. Sports Radio 810 WHB, Kansas City.
Is SportsCenter.
I'm Sean Ryder. Big time news out of the NFL. The Jaguars make it official. They hire Urban Meyer as their new head coach. Won 3 national college football titles, 2 of those with Ohio State. His first NFL coaching job at any level. ESPN's Adam Schefter on why Jacksonville a good fit to take over for a new head coach.
The Jaguars had the #1 overall pick and the opportunity to draft Trevor Lawrence, or even if Urban Meyer wanted, Justin Fields, a quarterback he once helped recruit to Ohio State. They have 11 picks scheduled for the upcoming April draft. They have over $100 million in salary cap space.
Urban Meyer, the new Jacksonville Jaguars head coach. The Rams named Jared Goff their starting quarterback for Saturday's divisional round playoff game at Green Bay. Alabama quarterback Mac Jones among 4 tied players that are entering the NFL draft. And the NBA just went final at San Antonio. A thriller. Rockets defeat the Spurs 107-105 as they win their first game since trading James Harden. Big game again for Christian Wood, the Houston center, 27 points and 15 rebounds. 2 other finals. 76ers go to 7-1 at home. They knock off the Heat 125-108. Ben Simmons, triple-double. Shake Milton, a game-high 31. Raptors get past the Hornets 111-108. Chris Boucher, game-high 25 off the Toronto bench. College basketball, 1 game of the top 25 and top-ranked Gonzaga has a 43-39 lead on Pepperdine. Start of the second half on ESPN. NHL openers, more of them tonight. Bruins over the Devils 3-2. Capitals beat the Sabres 6-4.
It's a full-scale football Friday coming your way as we get set for the divisional round with Bills legend Thurman Thomas and the one, the only, Chris Berman. Don't miss it with me, Greeny, starting 10 a.m. Eastern on ESPN Radio and ESPN+.
This is Almost Entirely Sports with Joshua Brisco.
More football, more sushi, more cocaine, more Almost Entirely Sports.
On Sports Radio 810 WHB.
We've spent a pretty good amount of time in the last couple of days looking ahead to Chiefs-Browns this weekend, but if we only did it from our side, what fun would that be? So we'll try to get a little bit smarter, at least about the Cleveland Browns, with a little bit of help from Pete Smith. You can follow him on Twitter at _Pete Smith _. You can check out his work at Browns Digest, up as a part of the Fan Nation Network on Sports Illustrated. Pete, first of all, thank you for being here. Second of all, how did it feel to cover a Browns postseason victory last week?
Good. Not as good as that was. It was that was an experience to go through that thing from the start of just absolutely controlling the first quarter, and it looked like it was going to be a blowout, to basically about 3 or 4 games that they've played this year where their defense just sort of allows the other team to gain confidence and hope until the Browns can finally sort of finish the game.
And you wrote up on Browns Digest about how, you know, the Browns essentially kind of ended this run for the Steelers. Obviously, they're now trying to build their own. But, I mean, there was so much just around that game from the jump all the way through how crazy that game ended up being. What has been kind of the mood in Cleveland and around the fan base right now? Is there a sense of accomplishment from just breaking that streak, winning a game, dethroning the Steelers, and all of the drama that's come from around it?
In this season, there has been a lot of people who have sort of understood that this was going to be a different deal for the Browns, but there were definitely holdouts that were still of the same mindset of being the same old Browns. And that obviously was a sort of something that the team played up. Obviously, Juju Smith-Schuster sort of tapped into that. So being able to win that game, being able to beat the Steelers, sort of ended that. I mean, that was sort of casting out that demon. This is a situation that has existed like this for touching 5 decades now. And what I mean is, this is the first time since the 80s that the Browns have had a coach in place and a quarterback in place that were, firmly entrenched, and the Steelers were bad, or at least worse, which is the end of the Chuck Noll era. So, I mean, it's been touching on 5 decades, 80s, 90s, to the 90s, 2010s, and 20s, that the Steelers have sort of been able to have this pedestal above the Browns, and now all of a sudden they're in this very unfamiliar territory, where not only are they in a position where they have to rebuild, which they haven't had to do, they also have to sort of deal with the fact that the Browns are the ones that sort of ended it, and that's not a familiar feeling for them.
Is that something that feels like I don't want to ask, is it a fluke one game in where we're going to get into a game where one of these two teams is going to go to the AFC Championship game after the game this weekend, but does it feel from the Cleveland perspective that this is a team that is still kind of picking up speed at this point, that this is something that's going to be sustainable in the years to come?
Whether the fan base realizes it or not is entirely unclear. But the truth of the matter is they are going to be better. They will be better next year. They should be better the year after that. The talent they have, the resources they have at their disposal, the people in place, they can. Right now they have what amounts to be a really talented offense, and some very nice players on defense. They don't really have a defense, and going into this year, so much of this was about, do they have the right head coach? Clearly, the answer is yes. Is Baker Mayfield legitimately the great quarterback that they thought he was as a rookie? Yes. And then it was, are they a legitimate contender where they need to start thinking about what is it going to take to now make that move and become a Super Bowl contender? I think they firmly answered that in the affirmative with this. So I think in a lot of ways this is sort of found money, where this game against the Chiefs is certainly an opportunity. Certainly fans are hoping that they can find a way to win this one and keep this going. They're obviously going to be better this week because they should have Joel Bitonio back. They do have Denzel Ward back. They do have Kevin Johnson back. They do have Kadero Hodge back, and they obviously have their head coach back. So they are theoretically stronger. Now, the test is much bigger. So from that standpoint, it's certainly a bigger mountain to climb. The Chiefs are the 1 seed. They're coming off a bye week. They're the reigning Super Bowl champions. They've got everything sort of going for them. But I think at this point, both as a team and this fan base, and really anyone, I don't think I'll admit I didn't think the Browns were going to beat the Steelers. I thought there were too many things that were sort of going against them. And now you can't rule them out against the Chiefs. I mean, it's just, you can't now say that they can't do it because clearly they've shown they can. Now it's still going to be, it's going to require almost a perfect game for them to do it, but that is sort of where they're at this point.
Well, and you mentioned, the idea of they've got found money right now. Sometimes those teams are the ones that are a little bit extra spicy, a little extra dangerous, because they've had a successful season by the standards of where they've been, and like you said, for the last numbers of decades, up through the steps they've taken this year. So whenever you look a little bit more specifically at this matchup this weekend, you look at the Chiefs. You say the Browns defense has talented players defensively. Obviously, Myles Garrett is a cyborg. But what do you mean whenever you say they've got some players, but they don't really have a defense right now?
Well, they have Myles Garrett's obviously a phenom. He's one of the best defensive players in the league. Sheldon Richardson's a nice defensive tackle. They've got some players up front that are good, and losing Olivier Vernon is obviously devastating because he was playing great football. But linebackers, look, they adopted the Chiefs model for this. And I've poked fun at this all year long. If people are like, the Browns don't have good enough linebackers, and I've basically said, who are the Chiefs linebackers? And nobody knows. They don't care. It just doesn't matter to what they do. And Sione Takitaki has been a nice player. They've got some guys who do some nice things. Denzel Ward, very nice corner. Kevin Johnson's a pretty good slot guy, even though he's not going to tackle anything. And Ronnie Harrison's been a phenomenal story. But they've got guys who just
aren't good enough. And Andrew Sendejo, God bless him, he's trying type of player. He wasn't supposed to be their free safety this year. He's brought in to be sort of a slot defender, and he sort of had to take the free safety job because Grant Delpit went down with an Achilles before the season. That's sort of where they're at, where they've got some pieces that's just clearly not there yet. And in that respect, they're similar to the Chiefs. Neither side is like, nobody's writing about how great their defense is in terms of winning these games. But it's always been enough for these two teams. Now, the issue is that the Chiefs just simply have more firepower than the Browns, and that may be the difference. But both teams, in their own way, have basically said, look, if we get enough out of the defense, our offense is good enough that we can win games. And that's what happened last week. That's obviously been the case for the Chiefs and last season and any number of times this season.
This might be more big picture than it needs to be, for at least for this week. But, I mean, that kind of confidence in the offense is fascinating to me because there were those weeks where everything just felt like it was not quite working together. I know Baker was hurt for a period of time in there, and they're playing in some bad weather games and all of that. But, I literally forgot about Grant Delpit. I liked him a lot coming out of the draft. I thought the Chiefs might be interested towards the end of the first round there. And then, Odell Beckham Jr.'s name doesn't even come up that often anymore, obviously, because he's been out for a while. But where did this offense start working to a point where you can say, hey, if the defense can hold on, this offense is going to win us a bunch of games?
Coming into the season, if they were going to be successful, the offense was going to drive the bus. It just had more talent. I mean, clearly they used this offseason to sort of, finish it in terms of everybody who's a starter or a featured player on this offense will be back next year. They're all under contract. They obviously finished the offensive line. They bring in Jack Conklin, who was an All-Pro this year. Jedrick Wills has been a really nice first-round pick. And, Austin Hooper's, if you look at his numbers, they're awful, but he's still an important cog in this thing. But by virtue of the offseason being a bridge with COVID and everything like that these teams that were installing new systems like the Browns, they didn't have a preseason. They lost a ton of practices. So, the first half of the season was really trying to figure this thing out. And that was the case for all these first-time head coaches. I mean, the Browns won 11 games. Kevin Stefanski won 4 more games than any other first-year head coach this year. Ron Rivera was the closest with 7. But that's just how big of a encumbrance that was, that big of a hurdle for them to sort of clear. I mean, the Chiefs, in the AFC, the Chiefs, the Ravens, and the Steelers were the 3 teams that I saw that were most equipped to sort of deal with losing practices. It's not because they didn't need it. It's because coming to the season, no one doubted what the Chiefs were. I mean, you knew what their identity was. You know who they are. The same thing with the Steelers and the Ravens. When the Browns came into the season, we had a pretty good idea of what they wanted to be, but it really hadn't come together yet. It was all theoretical. So really that first half of the season, it was sort of clunky. Baker Mayfield was sitting there thinking about what his teammates are doing, what he had to do. He wasn't able to sort of focus on what the defense is doing. And as he got more comfortable, more and more of that energy got turned to the defensive side of the ball. And now he's obviously picking teams apart. And it really came out in that second Bengals game after Odell Beckham Jr. got hurt, which is more coincidental than anything, that he just sort of trusted it and went with it. And then obviously they had the 3 weather games, which sort of waylaid the whole thing. He was looking at all the right things. He was doing all the right things. It just wasn't cooperating in terms of being in the environment that sort of allowed him to showcase it. And then now we've had a few of these games where he's just been legitimately great, and he's sort of the crescendo has continued into the playoffs where he was absolutely, dominant against the Pittsburgh Steelers, and he's going to have to be that guy again if they're going to be able to compete and beat a team like the Chiefs.
I think that last bit is very important to keep an eye on, I guess an ear to, because we spend a lot of time talking about Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb, and obviously, rightfully so in a lot of ways. But the amount of stuff that I think has to circle back to that passing game, we spend so much time on, hearing about controlling the ball in time of possession, things that don't end up actually moving the needle that way. What does is can you take advantage of your possessions and can you consistently score touchdowns and not field goals? How do you feel about with that offense being at this point right now, whenever you look at this Chiefs defense, whenever you look at where the Browns are right now, where that offense is right now? How do you see those pieces coming together, specifically against the Chiefs? What do you feel like is a fair expectation on the Browns offense versus Chiefs defense side of the matchup?
Well, I think they should be able to be successful running the football just by virtue of the fact that they can load up with size. They can bring in those extra tight ends. They can bring in those blockers. And the Chiefs really aren't built to sort of deal with that. They're a team that's built to play with the lead. And when they do that, they can send their guys, pin their ears back, rush the passer, and capitalize on mistakes. They've got corners who can intercept passes. They've got guys who can cause turnovers from that standpoint. So, you don't have to call it ball control, but just running the ball is a good advantage for them, being able to play action. And the thing that hurts the Browns, and I think is something they're going to have to address in this coming offseason offensively, is they just don't have enough explosive ability in the passing game. Even against the Steelers, Jarvis Landry had a great catch and run, but it was a 7-yard pass. And the same thing with Nick Chubb. He caught a screen and ran for 40. But as good as Mayfield is throwing the ball down the field, they really don't have the guys to sort of exploit that. That becomes a challenge. So in lieu of that fact, what they do is they spread teams out and win horizontally. They create space. They've got running backs. Obviously, Kareem Hunt can be a receiving threat. They can sort of isolate a guy in a bad situation, but they work horizontally and take advantage of that and try to stretch teams out in that manner and try to isolate the weakness. So in this case, in the same way I expect the Chiefs will, they're going to find those linebackers, and if they can get them isolated, they're going to take advantage and pick on them, which is exactly what they did against the Steelers and poor Robert Spillane, who they found over and over and over again and just threw the guy he was supposed to be covering.
I think that's a great call. I think Ben Neiman at this point is the guy that you have to that I have to worry for, that maybe you can be excited to see how that plays out. Because, you mentioned earlier that you can ask about how the Chiefs linebackers have played out and how no one knows who they are, which is obviously, not true here and is true everywhere else. But you're going to see plenty of Anthony Hitchens kind of being the guy in the middle of that defense. But specifically in terms of the spacing and trying to keep up with those linebackers, looks like Willie Gay Jr. is not going to play, and he's the most athletic of their linebackers. Ben Neiman probably ends up in that spot quite a bit, and that will be a matchup that I think is at least fair to say advantage Browns. What about on the other side of the ball? We were going through some stats earlier about how poor the Browns have been whenever they've been blitzing, and how good Patrick Mahomes is against the blitz. How poor the Browns have played whenever they've been playing cover zero, which obviously usually leads to some blitzing there as well. A couple things that the Browns probably shouldn't do against this offense. What do you think about those particular things? And then what should they do to try to slow down the Chiefs on Sunday?
I think it's fair to say if they blitz Patrick Mahomes, he's going to kill them. If they can do it in a way that, they can catch something by surprise, great. This is where losing Olivier Vernon really hurts them. It not only hurts from the standpoint of he was playing better than anyone on this defense the second half of the season, but it also causes a problem in the sense that Adrian Claiborne is the next man up. And Adrian Claiborne is a very good football player, but he can only really function from the right. So, and that's because of he's born with one arm shorter than the other one, so he almost exclusively plays on the right side. So what does that do? Well, now you force Myles Garrett to basically play exclusively on the left. So you sort of lose a little bit of that ability to move those guys around just because you're shorthanded and that element of it. I don't anticipate them playing a ton of man coverage just by virtue of the fact that the Chiefs have an obscene amount of speed, and then Travis Kelce is the best receiver in football. What I do expect them to do is exactly what they did against the Steelers. I think you're going to see a ton of quarters. I think you're going to try to do, and it's not only what they did against the Steelers, but it's what the Raiders did against the Chiefs, which was at least frustrating for them, that they took away those deep passes and forced them to sort of take the profit and run the ball. And they don't want to do either of those things if they can avoid it. So the Browns' best case scenario is to basically force the Chiefs to take as many snaps as possible, hope that Myles Garrett can eventually get home and cause either a forced fumble or something that causes a turnover. Because keep in mind the fact the Browns gave up 37 points in that game. They forced 5 turnovers and scored a defensive touchdown. That's how challenged this group has been, and the Chiefs are just really, really good. So they're going to try to, as best they can, avoid getting beat deep, force them to take some underneath stuff, and see if they can't get them to make their own mistakes, whether that's a holding penalty, whether that's false start, something to get them off schedule and hopefully either cause a turnover or maybe we see a punter in this game.
I wonder what the over/under is for just total punts, because I bet it's lower than you'd think. If I put you on the spot, Pete, if I say, all right, well, how are you feeling right now? What direction are you leaning right now? What's your best guess as to how this game ultimately ends up playing out?
I think both teams will score a lot of points. My gut right now is to say the Chiefs will just score more points. And that just comes down to that explosive ability. The fear you have, and I do think the Browns are actually okay on this front. I don't think they're going to get convinced into trying to keep up with the Chiefs' pace. That ability to potentially have a 3-play drive, I don't think the Browns are likely to fall into the trap of trying to keep up with that. I think they're okay understanding that they may take, 10 plays to get there. And that's really a danger for anybody if they try to keep up that pace with them. But I do think ultimately the Chiefs can score more points, but the Browns can look good, but it's just not enough. They're not quite there yet. And it sort of becomes that measuring stick where the Browns clearly show that they are a team that's on the rise, but just not quite on that level yet. Hopefully I continue to be wrong, but we'll see what happens.
Last thing for me is, are you okay calling this game sort of like the first honorary Dwayne Bowe game? And I don't know, maybe we can call it the Dwayne Bowl. I don't know if there's anything there. We have a deep love of Dwayne Bowe here, obviously capped off I'll say future Hall of Fame career with really kind of a absolutely all-pro series of seasons in Cleveland. I feel like this is important to me, that this is in some way honoring Dwayne Bowe's illustrious career.
Well, I don't think you're going to get too much support out of the Cleveland side on that. He's a pariah. That's one of those players that just, man, it just blew up the second he got here. Yeah. It seems like it followed a similar career path as Sean Kemp. Got to Cleveland, got fat.
Yeah, it broke bad pretty quickly, but I was really sad whenever he ended up being on his way out of Kansas City, because I still had hope, and I guess seeing it not work out there, maybe that gave me a little less sort of whatever the opposite of buyer's remorse is, seller's remorse, I guess. I don't know. I didn't make the call. Pete, thank you very much for not only breaking down where this game might go on Sunday, but also indulging my trip down Dwayne Bowe memory lane. Best of luck this weekend, both in your viewing experience and in your coverage up on Browns Digest, and hopefully we'll talk to you again soon.
Sounds good. If we're going to name it after anything, probably the best way to go is Marty Schottenheimer. Great for both teams.
Yeah, that's probably, you know what, that's probably for the best, but I'm extremely biased. Thanks, Pete. Appreciate it.
Take it easy.
It's Pete Smith of Browns Digest, up as a part of Sports Illustrated's Fan Nation. You can go check it out at si.com/NFL/Browns. Follow him on Twitter at _Pete Smith _. I wrote down a large number of things that he mentioned over the course of those 20 minutes. Even though he didn't fully sign off on my Dwayne Bowl game, which I think is what it's called now for me, even though he did not fully sign off on that, I didn't get the Cleveland honorary endorsement there 100%. Got it entertained, at the very least. Ice Pyro on Twitch has said, what about Schwartz? Mitchell Schwartz would also have made a lot of sense. He's still active, though. I mean, not like active, but like he's on the Chiefs roster. He's right, yeah. I just want to bring up Dwayne Bowe more often. All right, I'll admit it. I've been backed into a corner. I'm just going to say I would like to bring up Dwayne Bowe more often, period. So far, we've done it in 2 consecutive hours. I'm going to see if we can bring up Dwayne Bowe at least once per hour, at least until this game kicks off.
Hey everyone, Les Norman here, host of the Breaking the Norm Show. Since '95, I've made KC my home, and since then, I've seen a World Series champion in 15, a Super Bowl champion in 20, and the greatest fans supporting both. It's the people that make me proud to call KC home. You're passionate about your teams and each other. During this crazy time, keep caring for and loving each other. And thank you for making KC not only the greatest sports city, but also the most caring and helpful place to watch sports. Stay healthy, be safe, don't panic, and keep loving each other well.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well,
trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ziprecruiter.com/news. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job in ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And now you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Oh, ship! I need to get this package downtown by noon.
Don't worry. There's a brand new on-demand delivery service by Z-Trip. It's Z Shipping.
Are you shipping me?
No, we're shipping your packages.
For the quickest, affordable, on-demand courier service, visit zshipping.com. zshipping.com. Let Z-Ship help you with your delivery needs. That's zshipping.com.
Small business owners don't have the patience for nonsense, especially when it comes to their internet provider. They want the best services for the best price. Simply put, that's Spectrum Business. They give you great value, zero nonsense. Just call 833-919-2121. You'll get fast, reliable internet and phone with no contracts and no hidden fees, all for a price that could cut your bill in half. Spectrum Business. Call today, 833-919-2121.
When you want Chiefs, follow the leader. Sports Radio 810 WHB.
I just wonder how much the Browns can possibly have in the tank after what they've been through.
I think the Chiefs are a deserved double-digit favorite, but I do think the Browns have a chance just because they've got a pass rush and they've got the running back.
There are a lot of fans of Kareem Hunt who are still on the team. These guys like Kareem Hunt. But Kareem Hunt made his own bet in Kansas City.
Sports Radio 810 WHB. This is Almost Entirely Sports with Joshua Brisco.
For 2.5 hours, 2 hours and 45 minutes, talked eloquently about the Chiefs winning the AFC Championship for the first time in 50 years, and then for 4 minutes talked about the Space Force.
Which was founded September 1st, 1982.
On Sports Radio 810 WHB.
A few other things we'll do over the course of the rest of the show tonight. We've got an hour and a half. No more guests. The rest of the show is me, Rudy, Beards. In the 10 o'clock hour, we will do Sad Steelers fans on Reddit. We should call Pete back and see if he wants to just hang out during Sad Steelers fans. Well, we'll have Sad Steelers fans on Reddit. We will do our first edition of Shot Clock reviews in a long time. And we'll talk about all that over the course of the 10 o'clock hour. Also, Rudy, did you write down some of the emote suggestions for our Twitch?
Yeah, I got some of them. Some I didn't get because, as you know, the weird thing with this catch bot, you can't scroll up.
I know,
so
that's why I was sort of trying to
scroll up anymore.
I think that was close to the beginning.
I think I have.
I've got Twitch open if you need it.
Okay, we can work through some of those. The other thing, though, news real quick here. We don't have to get to that. Right, that's fine. Robert Saleh will be the next head coach of the New York Jets, which is not a shocker. He was going to get a job. Mm-hmm. That was pretty clear. For a while, it seemed like it was going to be Detroit, though, and I never really got the feel that the Jets were going to be terribly serious about Eric Bieniemy, partially because he'd interviewed there before, and they gave the job to Adam Gase. So I actually think that this is, in its own way, probably good news for Eric Bieniemy, because I think it leaves open a job that has legitimate interest in him and takes one away that maybe didn't. So that makes sense. It makes all the sense in the world from the Jets. Most teams typically go. Do we haven't mentioned Urban Meyer yet? We haven't. I don't think on today's show. You probably have heard Urban Meyer will be is officially going to be the next head coach of the Jacksonville Jaguars. And I mean, listen, I googled. I couldn't find why he's not the head coach at Ohio State anymore. I just couldn't. I don't know. Did something happen there? Is his health okay? Was there any sort of giant cover-up scandal for an assistant coach?
Man just one step away.
Probably just wanted to spend more time with his family. You know.
He said he'd never coach again.
He has a heart condition.
Like, no kidding. Did he say that whenever he left Florida? I think he may have said that twice now.
I saw that on Twitter somewhere, and I don't remember where.
I think he said it more than twice, because I think he's also reiterated it multiple times, especially after the Florida job.
Let me go check Freezing Cold Takes' account.
I'm just really, I'm just
think that's what I
excited.
thought.
I'm just excited for whoever gets to coach Trevor Lawrence 3 years from now, whenever he retires again, but also takes some sort of buyout. I don't know, man. I clearly am not an enormous fan.
From
of Urban Meyer.
2018, Urban Meyer addressed his future at retirement press conference. Quote, "I believe I will not coach again." Well, he believed wrong.
See if you can find either of you can find anything whenever he left Florida, and kind of in terms of health and like just trying to get his life together.
The reason
whatever.
why he left Florida was for health reasons.
Right.
Like that's why he stepped down.
And now he's taking a
Or at least,
buttload of
you know, at
money
the very least,
to
that's why he said he did.
not have to recruit anymore. I understand why he would do it. If I had to bet, I'd say that one doesn't end in a Super Bowl, but what do I know? Robert Saleh to the Jets makes sense. Typically, those jobs go from if you have to fire your head coach, you will, generally speaking, end up hiring someone very different in some way or another. The most obvious way is offensive versus defensive head coach, and so that's another reason that I didn't really expect the Jets to try to find some other dude who just like coached a good quarterback, because I think Eric Bieniemy is significantly more qualified than Adam Gase. But at their most basic level, they both had really excellent quarterbacks. So
sure.
That is being really reductive. But I could at least understand that from their perspective. They're going to need someone to coach their quarterback. Although, Rudy, can you remind it's Matt LaFleur's brother?
Yeah, Mike LaFleur, who has literally been with Shanahan his entire coaching career. He was the 49ers passing game coordinator, but Shanahan hired him to be his assistant when he was the OC in Cleveland. To be his intern when he was the OC in Cleveland, and he's just been following Kyle Shanahan since. So he's obviously learned under a very smart offensive mind.
Between Shanahan and his brother, that makes sense. You feel pretty good about whoever ends up being the quarterback there having a decent OC.
On Wikipedia, it has his age at 33 or 34.
Huh.
Not for sure, but he's one of the two.
Huh.
So he's pretty,
Interesting.
young guy. He's wearing a hat in his picture that looks like it might be a size too big for his head.
All right, now I gotta find Mike LaFleur's Wikipedia.
Yeah,
I guess everyone can search it. Beards is gonna flex his. I forgot. I knew there was a graphics thing I was gonna send you, Beards. I needed to send you the brick backdrop.
It just looks like it's maybe
I've got that already.
I have a different one, I think, but that's fine.
Just slightly too big.
Can I see it, Rudy? Can you just show me on your computer?
Not comically big, but you can see almost a little bit of space. I feel like maybe just a size too big.
It's also backwards.
Yeah.
He's a backwards hat guy.
Mm-hmm.
Don't tell Cowherd.
His shirt says "Rise Up, Recycle."
Well, that's good. He's environmentally conscious.
Love it.
You love to see that from your offensive coordinator. Thanks again to Pete Smith for joining us at _Pete Smith_ on Twitter. Check out Browns Digest. There was a series of things that I thought out of there, man. That's not.
Don't worry, I don't follow that anymore.
That's not
I
fun. I
follow
see it.
Low sodium cyberpunk, much better.
I see. I see it here now. Actually, it's r/lying to yourself.
Twitch is saying audio is dead though. Yep.
Oh yeah, hey Beards,
people are talking about how the audio is gone.
Yeah, hey Beards, whenever you change scenes, you need to make sure the audio is in that one. In fairness, I hadn't thought about it, but you change scenes, and the other scene you went into there with the screen cap was no longer taking audio from the radio. So we figured it out. Thanks for telling us, video watchers. You can watch the show on the Facebook, Twitch, and YouTube channel, by the way. Facebook.com/sportsradio810, Twitch.tv/sportsradio810, YouTube.com/810WHB, where the audio is back again. I think that maybe the most interesting thing, and listen, at this point, my raging against the time of possession, all of that stuff machine is very well documented. In fact, here's a little cross promo that I can't help. There's a really, really good story coming out tomorrow on Arrowhead Report that one of our writers wrote about time of possession and where it does and doesn't matter for the Chiefs. I'm going to save the stat that he put out there so I can give it full credit tomorrow. We'll bring it up on tomorrow night's show. But that conversation has obviously completely lost its luster for me. It's not worth our time. But Pete mentions the pace of the game. And typically people talk about slowing down the pace of the game as if that's going to help you stop the Chiefs. And that is not inherently beneficial. But what Pete was getting at was the Browns don't need to try to keep pace in terms of the Chiefs might score in 3 plays. It's okay if the Browns score in 10 plays, but they need to make sure that it is 7, like every possible time. And that, I think, ends up being the key for this game is the Browns offense can move the ball. And in some cases, it will make sense for them to run it because that might be the matchup that benefits them more. They just have to move the chains whenever they do that, which means being aggressive offensively, finding whatever works, and then doing that until it doesn't, and then doing something else. It means going for it on 4th down once you pass your own 40 minimum, at farthest, and continually putting the pressure back on the Chiefs. And listen, the Chiefs' offense is really comfortable being under pressure in terms of needing to score. They simply do. It just works every time, which is incredible, and it will not work 1,000% of the time, but they've been remarkable at that exact thing. But as long as the Browns are scoring touchdowns and not settling for a bunch of field goals, they can take however long or however quick they want. Again, slowing down the game, quote unquote, is not going to impact even the number of possessions by very much at all, and the actual time itself is inherently meaningless. They just need to do whatever is working for them offensively, and they need to do it pretty much impeccably. That's where all the focus should be. It's not how do they need to do it. It doesn't matter. What they need to figure out is how can we do it at 100% capacity, 100% aggressiveness, and pretty much 100% success. So that was interesting. Also, we haven't talked a ton about Myles Garrett yet, but he mentions that because Adrian Claiborne has one arm shorter than the other one, which I feel like I had heard before but had not thought about at any point this week, it basically keeps Myles Garrett on the left side at all times, which means Mike Remmers. Mike Remmers has performed valiantly, but that is going to be a job and a half. And something else that Seth mentioned earlier, again, continuing to just pull from things that I remember him saying since he's not on with us this week. Myles Garrett being something we saw them do against the Steelers, and I saw them point this out on the broadcast a couple times. There were times when they would put Myles Garrett on the left side of the line, and then the next defensive lineman would be on the center or on the outside of the center, on the other side, where they had these crazy lopsided defensive lines where you literally have Myles Garrett at his end spot and then 3 dudes on the other side of the line. You can do that because Garrett is going to demand all of that attention and still win sometimes, but he's going to demand all of that attention. And what it essentially does is it gives everybody else one-on-one matchups because you're assuming that the guard and tackle are double-teaming Myles Garrett at all times. So the center, left guard, and left tackle are all dealing one-on-one with somebody. And then if they do blitz anywhere, you may be SOL. Now, again, Seth is a little skeptical as to will the Chiefs be comfortable. Will the Chiefs try to double team Garrett at all times, or will they try to work around those lopsided lines and trust Remmers and maybe try to get him a little tight end chip help or something? But I thought that was really interesting because it gives a pretty tangible way of understanding exactly how Myles Garrett can literally make a defense lopsided by his own skill, power, and talent, and it literally changes how you play against that defense. I just think I think that's going to be something that's worth keeping an eye on.
Ice Pyro on the Twitch comments makes an amazing point here.
Okay.
If you score a lot of points and the other team doesn't, you'll probably win the game.
Is Iced Pyro Beards' Twitch account? Do you have a burner Twitch, Beards?
It's a burner Reddit. I'm sure of that.
No one should have their real name on their Reddit, right? I feel like that's playing with fire unnecessarily. Reddit scares me a little bit. I use Reddit pretty frequently. I browse Reddit. I have not commented on anything on Reddit in like 5 years, probably.
I don't believe I ever have. Beard, I'm genuinely curious about this because obviously, Beard, you spend a decent amount of time on Reddit.
A decent amount of time on Reddit. Beards basically gets paid to be on Reddit for at least from the hours of 8 to 11.
I was not trying to drag him here. I had a genuine question. I was just like, are you somebody who comments frequently, Beards?
No.
I feel like I'd be the same.
Beards is a lurker.
Yeah,
I'll post occasionally.
I'm definitely
or comment occasionally, but that's about it.
Yeah, I feel like I'm definitely a lurker, and part of this because I'm not really trying to have conversations with random people on the internet. I was taught as a kid that that's bad, so I just try to stay away from that.
He's occasionally, he says. So, you know, every once in a while. It's just
occasionally got to dabble.
On my CPU 3X 690 graphics card, Cyberpunk 2077 actually runs flawlessly. This is the sound that typing makes, I guess. Is this from Reddit user Beards McFly, or do you have some secret handle that we are not going to be able to find on your Reddit usage?
I made my Reddit account before
my
legal name became.
Were you not bored, Beards McFly?
Before your canon had been fully established.
So no, that's not my Reddit name, and I can't change it.
On the Twitch, somebody Ice Pyro. I am Beards. Metzel. I am Beards. #. We are all Beards.
Good.
Good to know there's a Beards army out there.
I just went to what I believe is your Gmail handle. Oh!
Did you find it?
Yes! I found Beards' Reddit! His little Reddit avatar's got a big old beard on it.
Does it? Oh, yeah, it does.
He commented on Game Thread, Atlanta Falcons at Kansas City Chiefs. Yes!
Chili Cheese says we are the McFly of Beards.
Let's see. Wow, this is a pretty long comment about Assassin's Creed Odyssey, Beards. You also this comment from you, Beards, has 0 points.
I know.
you got downvoted.
Brutal.
I know. That's okay.
You got the Assassin's Creed subreddit does not like you. I don't know that.
It's because I had a controversial opinion.
What was your controversial opinion?
That the last one wasn't that great. Not the Viking one, the one before that.
Beards has this thing where things that are bad he likes and things that are good he hates. It's weird, but you know, hey, man's gonna do what man's gonna do. Beards is gonna be Beards. And now that Beards has built an army on Twitch, honestly, I'm scared of him a little bit.
I'm not gonna fully blow up Beards' spot here because I think it's way funnier if this is all sort of hidden privately. But if I told, now you can keep your mic on for this, Beards. It's all right. We'll ride this into a break. Go ahead. I want you to hear me say this about your Reddit account. Rudy, how would you feel if I? You can leave your mic on, Beards. That's fine.
I mean, the fan's on in the background.
That's all right. We're gonna go to break in a
It's
second.
for the aesthetics.
Hey, Rudy, how would you feel if I told you that Beards had posted on Beards? You want to guess the subreddit I'm about to mention?
No.
Steaks.
That's probably the safer bet. The safest bet is probably not to tell on yourself accidentally. There's a nice post here where Beard's got a few upvotes, which is nice to see.
Nice.
On the Bill Simmons subreddit.
That makes sense.
Beards!
That makes sense.
Why are you on the Bill Simmons subreddit?
Because it's funny.
He's a Bill Simmons fan. He's
It's
a
perfect.
Celtics guy.
No,
of course it's on the
I
Bill
know.
Simmons
It's just
Reddit.
perfect. That one is the funniest possible one for me just because that's so Beards. That's so on brand. Like
Yeah.
I'm just guessing that r/Zach Lowe doesn't exist yet.
I actually don't know if it doesn't now, but now I need to look.
You really do.
No, I'm gonna be doing that next segment. Let's see. Hang on.
Trying to play cool like he doesn't already know.
I actually don't.
All right, Beards, I got one more for you.
Oh, it does exist. There's
Yes,
only
there had to
421
be
people
one.
though.
122 now.
What was it? Say that again, Beards?
There's only 421 people subbed.
422.
There is now.
There is a
No
an
post.
ask.
No post in the last year though, so that's distressing.
Get on it, Beards.
There's an Ask Reddit from 6 months ago that you answered, Beards.
Uh-oh, I don't remember what this was.
The question was, what movie would be the weirdest if it included a sex scene? Do you remember your answer?
I don't.
What would your answer be now? I don't know if your neurons are all still connected.
Probably something to do with the Muppets.
Have you heard of Avenue Q? Because that will change that answer. You'll know how that feels to watch with your human eyes. No, that was not your answer, though.
Okay, that I don't remember.
Brave little toaster.
Did you know you can listen to Almost Entirely Sports anywhere, anytime? Well, you can. Just search for Almost Entirely Sports wherever you get your podcasts.
A reading from the Golden Oak Lending Book of Mortgage Lingo. What is Zipline? It's Golden Oak's fast and easy online mortgage tool that leaves you with more time to plan a family movie night.
I get to pick the movie.
And clean up the popcorn you weren't planning on sharing. At Golden Oak Lending, we speak mortgage and love translating it. Right now, rates are at a historic low 2.5%. Visit goldenoaklending.com to use Zipline. NMLS 114937, 2.5% fixed, 2.655% APR on a conventional 15-year mortgage with 30% equity and approved credit. JLB Corporation, 8595 College Boulevard, Overland Park, Kansas.
Get ready for the Chiefs and Browns with all-day coverage on Sports Radio 810 WHB. It begins at 8 a.m. with Chiefs Tailgate, then Josh Brisco hosts our Red Zone Playoff Special, and Seren takes over at 11 with the Central Bank of the Midwest pregame show. After the game, tune into the best post-game show in town, featuring the latest from Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes and your phone calls. The best Chiefs coverage is right here on your home for the NFL playoffs, Sports Radio 810 WHB.
Whether you're looking for energy savings for the winter or updating your home office or man cave, One Stop Decorating is the place for beautiful energy-efficient window coverings. One Stop Decorating offers free in-home or virtual consultations, or you can come into one of their 3 beautiful showrooms to see all the window coverings in their Hunter Douglas galleries. Ask about smart shades that can be controlled by Google, Alexa, and HomeKit. 913-270-0408, 913-270-0408, or onestopdecorating.com. Your home, your windows, your style.
Hey everybody, Corey Anderson here. Join me this Friday as The Zone broadcasts live from Rally House across from Oak Park Mall. Come gear up for Sunday with the best selection from Rally House. Grab your new Chiefs gear and represent for the playoffs. Rally House has loads of jerseys in stock and select Majestic jerseys up to 60% off. They also have scarves, gloves, and hats to keep you warm at the game. So stop by Rally House at Oak Park Friday to see me from 10 to 2 with The Zone on Sports Radio 810 WHB.
Every weekday on Sports Radio 810, tune in to hear Kansas City's favorite local lineup. At 6 a.m., wake up with the Border Patrol with Stephen St. John and Nate Bucati. At 10, it's The Zone with Jason Anderson. Now at 2, get into the program with Seren Petro. And wrap up your day on Almost Entirely Sports with Joshua Brisco. Kansas City's hometown sports station. Sports Radio 810 WHB.
Boulevard believes in easy indulgence. That's why they decided to put Tank 7 in cans. Their distinctly American twist on a classic Belgian-style farmhouse ale takes its name from the notoriously unpredictable fermenter where the signature beer's perfect combination of ingredients first came to life. You could call it fate. Their brewers call it Tank 7. Grab a 4-pack and treat yourself to a Tank 7 today. You deserve it. Boulevard Brewing Company, Kansas City, Missouri.
This is Almost Entirely Sports with Joshua Brisco.
Why do you have a fake name as your Twitter name, by the way?
To throw people off this scent.
Okay. I guess that makes sense. You're at Beards McFly, but you have a fake name just so friends and family can't find your Twitter easy. So you call yourself quote unquote Nathan Wilhelm.
Yeah.
Dumb. It's probably smart, really. I should consider it.
I don't need grandma looking.
On Sports Radio 810 WHB.
Last thing here on the Beards' secret Reddit front. I just scrolled through one last time and wrote down 3 things he had posted on Reddit about.
Uh-oh.
Just three things at random. Cyberpunk.
Mm-hmm, probably.
Beamer's Barbecue.
Yep. It's delicious.
And that stat about James Harden having more free throws than field goals.
Still true. For anybody that doesn't know.
Do you want to frame it correctly?
For his career, James Harden has made more free throws than he has field goals, which is unbelievably bonkers. I think I did the math yesterday, and Michael Jordan, for example, had made 5,000 more field goals than he had free throws. So it's wild.
I stopped listening because I found there are actually some sort of like little sports emotes that you can put on our Twitch right now. Like I threw a yellow flag, which I would encourage everyone to do whenever this show commits some form of penalty. You can just spam the yellow flag or the red flag if you'd like to challenge something. Iced Pyros is currently changing the oil on a garbage truck, which is the manliest thing that I think has happened anywhere near this show in the last eternity, I think. I got my my car's broken bad battery. Finally got that replaced a couple of days ago, and my car starts again without having the remote little jumper thing just stuck in the trunk of my car at all times. That was a big win for me. Rudy, you have I just kind of want to unpack this. You have posted a hot dog emote.
I have.
Could you explain, please?
It's just from it's an emote that I have.
Chili Cheese just said they're currently posting on the Bill Simmons Reddit, which is really good.
From a Twitch streamer who I follow, so it's not even so like that. That is a custom emote from a different channel.
Where did all these sports ones come from? I was gonna say I've never seen them, but it's just also really not kind of that's not maybe Twitch's.
Oh, the global
demographic. Are they global?
Yeah. It's in the global.
That you know what? It's probably they did that whenever they had a game. They had a game on Twitch. They had a game on Amazon Prime at least that you think could also watch through Twitch. Maybe
there used to be G League basketball on Twitch. I don't know if there still is.
So I don't know if every primetime game, but I think it might be. I know Thursday night is. I know Thursday Night Football was on Twitch, and I feel like one on Monday or Sunday Night Football was also on Twitch.
That's right.
But I know Thursday Night Football was.
They have a throw the football and a run the football emote, and if anyone uses the run the football emote, you'll be banned. I will ban you from the Twitch channel. We only throw the ball and then also flags in the Twitch stream. G.E. Metzel, and I'm sorry if I got your name really bleeped up. So I thought that was a knife going into the football at first, and that is what the emote looks like. It looks sort of like a knife stabbing into a football, which is even cooler, I think. Mm-hmm. So I support that as well. I think that we have the knife into the football is the Patriots emote. That's a pretty good joke from Chili Cheese. We've covered the Robert Saleh hiring. We've covered the Urban Meyer hiring. We have taken a peek ahead into Chiefs-Browns this weekend. Within that sort of little cycle, in fact, I'll just throw it to you guys on this one, see if you guys want to catch this topic. Is there anything from the Browns' little circle of storylines that is not Kareem Hunt that still intrigues either of you in any way? I think the Kareem Hunt stuff, we got all the audio. I think we might cook through that tomorrow night. Because I don't think we're going to get to it tonight. And frankly, I think that's also okay because I'm not even 100% sure where to land that plane. But have we covered sort of the most important elements of this at this point?
I'm trying to think if there is anything else that I guess really jumps out. I mean, I guess and some of this may be just because I haven't just followed the news necessarily as closely this week. Do the Browns COVID? Is everything all right there? Still?
Everything seems fine. Pete said, Stefanski should be back. They got a bunch of players back.
I think their biggest thing probably comes down to because obviously I'm typically not scared of teams that specialize in running the ball. Not that I'm saying this. I'm scared of the Browns. I think the Browns are a slightly different team in the sense that they're not running to gain 4 to 5 yards a carry. Mm-hmm. They're running to get 20 plus, and part of that is because I remember when that game in the previous playoff game. The Pro Football Focus was showing, their grades for the players. Mm-hmm. And their right tackle was the #1 ranked tackle in football. And the right guard was the number 1 ranked guard in football. And their center was the 5th ranked center in football. They have a very talented rookie at left tackle, and obviously they were missing their left guard who was out for cover. So like it's slightly different just in the sense that I'm not that I'm afraid of a team that specializes in running the ball, but they have the ability to maximize the running game as well as you can because they have 2 incredible running backs, but also an incredible offensive line, right?
Yeah.
So it's like you're getting in terms of running the ball, you're able to maximize the both because you're incredible at both.
I think it makes them slightly more comparable to the Ravens than most other teams.
I was kind of thinking maybe even like 49ers of last year where they run the ball a lot. But now it's slightly different where it's more of Shanahan using creative ways to get just random guys open.
Right, it's just that the 49ers didn't have a bunch of like big name, expensive, highly drafted running backs. And so I don't think that offense was
good. They don't have highly
good.
drafted running backs. They have a highly drafted, basically a slot wide receiver.
Right.
But not a running back.
No, I think that's an interesting and like very fair call that they're doing it a little bit differently in that regard. Although I just pulled up the Ben Baldwin's EPA box score just out of curiosity against the Steelers, which is not the beginning and end of all things, but whenever they threw the ball, they gained 0.34 EPA per play. Whenever they ran the ball, they gained 0.03 EPA per play. They had positive in both. The Steelers lost. Holy bleep.
Passing the ball is just a more efficient way. Also, I just Baker Mayfield just doesn't feel like a guy who I still trust to
totally
win you a game.
100%.
So I hope they do. They throw a lot.
The Steelers in that game had a negative 0.41 rushing EPA per play. They threw the ball for just 0.07 positive EPA per play. Negative 0.41. is crazy. Yeah. But you're right. I think that there's a little bit of doubt still about Baker. I think that Pete mentioning that that's an offense that still doesn't have all of the explosion that you'd like for it to have is something that if you're the Chiefs right now, you have to feel relatively good about because you can do all you want in terms of various paces, but you're the more explosive team, and especially in the playoffs, that's got to make you feel pretty good.
You're listening to Almost Entirely Sports with Joshua Brisco on Sports Radio 810 WHB.
At Central Bank of the Midwest, we are focused on building strong communities across Kansas City. I'm Bill Ferguson, President and CEO. Our strong roots began more than 100 years ago in the heart of the Midwest and continue today across 5 states and 67 communities. Central Bank of the Midwest brings you the best of both worlds, a strong community bank with the resources and technology to deliver a legendary banking experience. Central Bank of the Midwest, strong roots, endless possibilities. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
This weekend, the action continues with the divisional round of the NFL playoffs. The action begins Saturday at 3:30 with the Rams and Packers.
Woods wide open, makes the catch of the 5, strolls to the end zone, touchdown LA.
Then it's the Ravens and Bills at 7:15.
Jackson dives, and he's in! Touchdown, Lamar Jackson!
Your exclusive home for the NFL playoffs and Super Bowl 55. Sports Radio 810 WHB.
Get fired up, Kansas City, for a week-long event that's all about appreciating you, our guests. Red Door Wood-Fired Grill is so thankful for your loyal support this past year, and they'd like to say thank you with a special lunch and dinner menu, including free beignets on your next purchase. Pick 2 mouthwatering courses during lunch for only $15, or indulge in Red Door's 3-course dinner menu for just $30, featuring their popular wood-fired KC strip. Join us January 9th through 16th and reserve your table today at reddoorgrill.com. What are you waiting for, KC? Get in here.
Hey, Kansas City, how about a new career that is economic and pandemic-proof? How about the chance to get paid to learn a trade? Anthony Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electric has a career for you. Reach out to them today at anthonyphce.com/careers or call 913-268-4669 and see how you can get a paycheck while you learn. Again, 913-268-4669. Anthony Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. Technicians you can trust with your house keys.
This weekend, the action continues with the divisional round of the NFL playoffs. The action begins Saturday at 3:30 with the Rams and Packers.
Woods wide open, makes the catch of the 5, strolls to the end zone, touchdown LA.
Then it's the Ravens and Bills at 7:15.
Jackson dives, and he's in! Touchdown, Lamar Jackson.
Your exclusive home for the NFL playoffs and Super Bowl 55. Sports Radio 810 WHB. No one gives you more Chiefs, news, information, and interviews than your hometown radio station. Sports Radio 810 WHB.
Caught in the back of the end zone. Touchdown, Kelsey.
Yeah, you know it. Let's go.
We'll rest up some guys.
That's what you work your tail off for all season.
I just trust in the coaches. I'm ready to go.
Your exclusive home for the NFL playoffs and Super Bowl 55. Sports Radio 810 WHB. Kansas City's favorite sports station. 20 years and counting. Sports Radio 810 WHB. Kansas City.
I'm John Ryder. Breaking NFL news. The Jets announced they have hired Robert Saleh as their new head coach. ESPN's Adam Schefter reports Saleh will get a 5-year contract. He spent the past 4 years as the 49ers defensive coordinator. Jaguars get who they wanted as their next head coach. Jacksonville announcing they have hired Urban Meyer. He led Ohio State to a pair of national titles and Florida to a national championship as well. Adam Schefter on the hiring.
When Urban Meyer goes and takes a job, he is the kingmaker. He is the kingpin. He is the guy that decides how things go. And they'll go from there. And I think part of the reason that these discussions were as drawn out as they were was because they were coming up with a structure for the organization that's acceptable to all, something that was palatable to Urban Meyer, palatable to the Jaguars. But he's going to be the guy at the head of the organization, even though his title is head coach. He'll bring on a GM, he'll bring on assistants. He's begun to arrange to do all of that already. But he is the guy that's the face of the organization.
Adam Schefter on Urban Meyer, the new Jaguars head coach. To the NBA, the Rockets win. They beat the Spurs 109-105, their first game since trading James Harden. Houston's first game without James Harden on the roster since April of 2012. Ben Simmons, he wasn't dealt for James Harden. Triple-double with 12 assists. 76ers clobber the Heat 125-108. Raptors over the Hornets 111-108. In the NHL, Edmonton leads Vancouver 4-2. Start of the third period. Connor McDavid has a hat trick. It's on ESPN+.
We're back on Friday, and the Chiefs are getting ready for another Super Bowl run. I'll tell you what's on the line for Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes. Keyshawn, J. Will, and Zubin, Friday at 6 Eastern on ESPN Radio.
This is Almost Entirely Sports with Joshua Brisco.
I have a comment very quickly.
Fifth overall pick by the Sun.
From Beards, is that comment from the Sports Radio 810 Facebook page where you can watch this show every night?
No, it's from the Almost Entirely Sports Facebook page, which you should like because then you'll see all our stuff.
Yeah, we share
Walter
this
Davis was one of the few high draft picks they drafted that worked out, unlike Blanchard.
Austin says, Double Dose of Sad fans on Reddit next at 8. Doesn't play the first one until 8:15. Talks about Ice Age 2 and Beards playing tennis. 8:30 and still haven't gotten to second Sad fans. This entire hour is so on brand for this show, and I love every single minute of it.
On Sports Radio 810 WHB.
This might be the royalty-free bump music that doesn't make it for like a fourth rotation. It just feels a little bit. And I think we should keep all of them in rotation for a while. This one to me is just a little extra cornball.
What's wrong with Bloody Nose?
I don't like it.
It's also because I definitely heard the vocals in the first version, and it's just tough.
It's just you.
It's just bad to listen to. It's just upsetting. The Twitch stream has been great tonight. The various emotes that have made their way into the stream. Also, I left to go to the bathroom and get some water. Those are two separate actions. I don't get all my water out of the toilet like a gross dog. But as I left, then the entire stream became about how important running backs are and trying to get that narrative going while I was out of the room. So the Twitch audience has really done good for itself, being the base that is most understanding of how this show functions. So good stuff from the Twitch.
The Twitch is good.
If you're maybe just listening to this hour of the show in podcast form later on or whatever, you may think, wait a second, the Twitch? That's right. Facebook.com/sportsradio810, Twitch.tv/sportsradio810, YouTube.com/810WHB. We are live in all of those places. We'll probably be on Twitter before too terribly long on Twitter's video whatever.
Who can say?
That one's just a little bit of an extra little curveball for us to hit. But Twitch has been really good for a little back and forth and a little bit of a listener to show engagement. I've really enjoyed the Twitch this last couple of weeks. So follow us over there at Sports Radio 810. I think all of us have personal Twitches as well that we've done a total of like 2 streams on that might both be mine.
Probably. I've done nothing.
Yeah, I've never actually streamed on mine.
I've done 2 Among Us streams, and that's really carrying the trio here.
I'm on Twitch a lot. Like I'm like Twitch for me is what Reddit is for beards. I am on Twitch a lot, but I've never personally streamed myself.
Twitch is what Twitch is to Rudy what Reddit is to beards, which is why Rudy spends entire shows just staring at his iPad that he's holding with both hands an inch away from his face
it's
watching
only the
Twitch.
Nuggets game.
The Nuggets game's on over your shoulder also.
Okay, you know what, Josh? A good idea. I'm gonna watch that.
I mean, no, you can pull the microphone around and just do play-by-play of
seriousness,
Warriors Nugs.
Like especially when I was back there, and again, I wasn't like necessarily always watching it, but I always had a tab open, and usually that like a Twitch tab open with something on. Every now and then you just glance over.
Millennials.
I like some Twitch.
It's sad fans on Reddit time. You may say, wait a second, the Chiefs didn't have a game last week, and also it's Thursday. What happened? Beards, explain where we're at here.
It's Thursday?
It's Thursday.
What happened was, man, the Steelers lost, and man, they were sad about it. And also, I forgot to record it yesterday, so that's why it's on today and not yesterday.
That's fine. We're talking a lot of Browns today. We can talk about the team that had that pain inflicted on them by the Browns last week. And if last week is any indicator, maybe this is warming up for sad Chiefs fans that are next week, which, boy, howdy, that'd be a bummer, wouldn't it?
I think I'm going to pull a Dwight and just be like, yeah, I thought today was Friday, and I'm not going to come into work tomorrow. I'll use that as my excuse.
Boy, it's just that your great plan got broadcast over live radio just
Nobody's
now.
listening.
And also on Twitch, Facebook,
and I
YouTube.
trust the Twitch listeners to keep that a secret.
I think that's probably true. I think
it's Twitch. They got my back.
Twitch has your back. I, however, don't. I'll be telling Lebo that you have lied to all of us.
That's fine.
And got a fake Friday. Let's do it, Beards. Let's hear how sad Steelers fans got. What was the experience like as you were going through their game thread and whatnot?
I managed, because sometimes Reddit game threads, just because there are so many comments, I can't really, whenever I load more comments, it doesn't do it sequentially, even though I have it sorted by new. So I kind of just got like a shotgun experience of basically everything that was going on. There was a lot of, I'm sad because Roethlisberger's sitting there over on the bench by himself.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't care for those.
Those didn't make the cut?
No, those didn't make the cut. There was some like actual anguish and sadness and rage, and all of that made it, and it was very good.
Well, let's hear it then. Let's hear sad Steelers fans on Reddit as their empire has fallen, as the Browns have taken over, and really by taking over, I mean the second slot in the division, because the Browns are the best team in the AFC North, but that's neither here nor there for the time being. Sad Steelers fans on Reddit!
And now, a list of things that Pittsburgh Steelers fans said on Reddit after losing to the Browns. 2016 was the last time the Steelers won a playoff game. Even Collinsworth's kid needs to be punched in his soup coolers. What a horribly embarrassing season. From 11-0 to 12-5. The Browns are still gonna wake up in Cleveland tomorrow. Browns playing the Chiefs next week while we play Fortnite. Smiling sunglasses emoji. Well, at least it's scoregami.
Yeah.
On to the Sixers. Can someone punch Collinsworth Jr. in his stupid face?
Funny little face.
The great Cleveland clapping of 2021. Do they owe someone money or something? I remember losing to Blake Bortles. I remember losing to Tebow. This is worse.
Oof.
Browns, missing their top corners. Steelers, repeatedly run the ball? Comment via Titans fan. Don't worry, guys. My team also had a cowardly punt today, and I found the cure. It's lots and lots of whiskey. The goddamn Ravens and Browns, too. Guys, I'm starting to think spotting the Browns' 28 points was a bad idea. Outcoached by a guy in his basement. I miss the porn-addicted Big Ben. My wife just asked me why I was pouring shots, looked at the TV, and said, "Oh, F*** America." Or at least the 55% who picked the Browns. 55% of America can lick my Times like these are when I'm happy to be a Lions fan because I never have to worry about bad playoff games. It's really bad when 3 and out is an improvement. Steelers defense looking like the Capitol Police. You to the poster who wrote a thread about not freaking out in the first quarter. I'd turn this game off and go to bed, but apparently I love punishment. Someone give Ben a bottle of Lubriderm, some Microsoft Surface, log into his browser subscription, and send him into the blue tent. I'm going to have to watch Antonio Brown lift the Lombardi, aren't I? No. Stop. I can't put more holes in my wall. It's out of control. I hope I die soon.
Hey, you
Anyone
found
know
my
where I
post.
can buy bleach in bulk? I'm going through every single stage of grief at once.
Why was one Steelers fan?
The
post
Steelers beat
just
5 of the
Rudy's
7
Facebook
AFC playoff teams this season, including themselves. We didn't lose to the Browns tonight. We lost to ourselves. The fact that they had Browns uniforms on just made it worse. Steelers and playoff turnovers. Why do you hurt me? This game should be on Pornhub tomorrow morning. Entire city gets by team with COVID.
Big Ben is watching.
Fitchner needs to be eggs out from anything to do with any sport. Don't let COVID-19 fool you with those empty seats. There were 68,000 fans there, but they all just left. Blake Bortles put 45 on us a couple years ago.
I forgot about
We put
that.
45 on ourselves today. We score 37 and lose by 11 in a 5-turnover game. Please read that over and over. And now, the bronze medal of things that Steelers fans said on Reddit. Good. Nothing. Bad. Everything. Ugly. Also everything. And now, the silver medal. Mike Tomlin spent all week in front of a mirror wearing aviators and trying out clever catchphrases. And now, the winner of things that Pittsburgh Steelers fans said on Reddit. This is 10% pain, 20% pain, 15% concentrated power of pain, 5% pain, 50% pain, and 100% reason to remember the pain.
That's very good. Steelers fans brought it. Steelers fans were, you can tell, and this isn't your fault, Beards. The Chiefs have just been beating up on some teams that didn't have a lot on the line, you know? Even like the Saints, they were fine. They were gonna be fine. There is hurt in that subreddit. There is 100% reason to remember the pain. There's a lot about Ben Roethlisberger and being in the blue injury tent for reasons that aren't an injury. Al, looks like Big Ben's gone into the injury tent to deal with a little stiffness. We'll see if he gets back out on the field here momentarily.
"30 seconds later."
I will not make any any more jokes on that topic because it can only get worse from there.
Yep.
Like what you just said, I wanted to. Oh, I feel like I'm just kind of. I wish there was a sound that got made every time I let a joke by, you know? Just so everyone could know how. I just had another one. Just so everyone can know kind of how professional and restrained we are as a show. I wish just every time a joke was allowed to pass by us, you just got to hear like you know the little those little like spinny whistles. I have one that's like in a Chiefs helmet that I've had for a long, or I used to have. I don't know if it made the last move with me, but you blow into it and it sounds almost like a kazoo, but it's like spinning or something. Just a kazoo might be good. I could just have a kazoo that I could just whenever I let.
I was going to see if there was an airplane sound effect that we had, but I didn't find one.
Why?
The joke went by.
Oh, okay. What about like a train? A car? Let's see. Or a bird flying overhead, perhaps?
Train whistle. No.
Maybe you just turn
Train
on
sound. No.
Maybe you just turn on your mic, Beers, but like you be quiet.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah. We got it there. You can do a little Doppler effect.
Real fast. Okay, everybody. Beers, crank up your mic. Everybody be quiet. Record it, Beers. Put it in the system.
Rudy? Oh, Ice Pyro says it needs to be a slide whistle. We need to get a slide whistle.
Oh, we do need
It just
a
needs to
slide
be a
whistle.
slide
We
whistle.
need a slide whistle.
Yeah, because just imagine, you know, they had the Blue Ridge had to deal with a little section. And
also,
then
we don't have a slide whistle sound effect either.
Womp,
the
womp,
internet,
womp. We'll just do it ourselves. That's fine. When you guys want to sort of lob a joke up into the air for me? Pretty obvious little layup that I can just sort of slam home.
Let's see. Obvious jokes.
Are you Googling obvious jokes? I just want to make a Big Ben joke so I could. I feel like the path to the end of the segment's pretty well telegraphed at this point.
Just like Big Ben's passes. I don't know. I have nothing.
Hold on.
I have nothing to toss to you.
Womp, womp, womp. Womp. In that instance, the sound of the thing flying by was the show going over the edge of a cliff into a deep ravine, much like Big Ben's career.
On the Twitch, 2 men walk into the bar. A third man ducks? Question mark.
Just like the passes that Big Ben throws, ducks.
Sure.
We should have broken 6 minutes ago. Broken? Braked? Taking a break.
Ooh, maybe
Left.
the third man's Duck Hodges.
Whoa!
It's Big Ben and Mason.
Big Ben and Mason
and a
Rudolph
duck.
walk into a bar. Ducks, goose!
Want more Almost Entirely Sports? Watch the show live on the Sports Radio 810 Facebook page.
Do you have a frog? You know, a freezing room over the garage? Now that everyone is home, are you looking to convert your frog into an office, a schoolroom, or a comfortable room to escape your family? With no ductwork required, Mitsubishi Electric offers room-by-room air filtration and precise temperature control. Let's help you turn those cold, uncomfortable spaces in your house into a space you and your family will really enjoy. To learn more about Mitsubishi Electric's solutions, visit keepkccool.com today. Now, they can help you whether you need to heat it up or cool it down. Mitsubishi's got you covered. Our biggest problem here in the Sports Radio 810 control room and studio was the heat. We've got a lot of windows and a lot of radio equipment, and our Mitsubishi unit has kept us cool for years. It works like a charm, and it works quickly, and it's whisper quiet. It's been a real game changer for us at Sports Radio 810. Check them out at keepkccool.com. That's keepkccool.com today.
You got through 2020 together, so what are you waiting for? Propose with a stunning engagement ring from Shane Company. With our huge selection of ring settings and loose stones, countless combinations and possibilities, at Shane Company you can truly create a one-of-a-kind ring that will reflect her personal style. When you're finished, her ring will look like no other. Her friends will say, "It's so her." First, select a ring setting from hundreds of unique styles. Then pick a center stone. Choose a natural diamond, ruby, or a sapphire in over a dozen colors. We have the largest selection of stone shapes and sizes. Finally, add your own touch, like a decorative crown or a special engraving. Visit our store or book an in-store or virtual appointment. Now you have a friend in the jewelry business. Shane Company and ShaneCo.com.
Our biggest storage event just got stronger. The Store More, Save More event going on now at the Home Depot. Get exclusive HDX black and yellow Tough Totes starting at just $4.98. They're heavy duty, durable, and come in a range of sizes from 7 to 70 gallons. So whether you need to store a little or store a lot, you're going to save loads. Make room for big savings at the Store More, Save More event going on now at the Home Depot. How doers get more done. Limited time only. Event and dates vary by store. See store for details.
No one gives you more Chiefs, news, information, and interviews than your hometown radio station. Sports Radio 810, WHP.
Caught in the back of the end zone. Touchdown, Kelsey.
Yeah, you know it. Let's go.
We'll rest up some guys.
That's what you work your tail off for all season.
I just trust in the coaches. I'm ready to go.
Your exclusive home for the NFL playoffs and Super Bowl 55. Sports Radio 810, WHP. This is Almost Entirely Sports with Joshua Brisco.
Twice you've had good jokes too late. Rudy's had good jokes too early. If you guys could get your timing figured out, if Rudy had the half-second
I'm too lazy for that.
Here's the thing, man. If I could figure out my
You
timing...
both did it again!
On Sports Radio 810, WHP.
I know that not every segment should begin with us talking about the liner that just played, but you could play that liner at my funeral, and I would sit up out of my... I would curl into the fetal position in my coffin, because every time that one... I have such a... It is both your guys' best comedic moments ever, but the thing that birthed it was me being mad at how bad your timing had been. It's unbelievable. Like, it really feels like the siblings teaming up, you know, to just absolutely ruin their mom's day.
I was going to say babysitter, but yeah. Same.
Babysitter's much better. Babysitter is much better. We've already established that'd be a bad parent.
You come together to take down the babysitter.
Yeah. You put some old... Somebody ate it off of the TNT set just now. Can't tell who that is yet. Is that Shaq?
I think that might be an old clip.
It is Shaq, but I do think
yeah,
it is
you're right, because it's sponsored. It's just a bunch of clips of Shaq falling down. That's
always
true. You're
funny.
right.
Here we go.
And they're not running
and
again.
Now Shaq's chairs went
did
down.
Shaq fall again? Is the question? No, they raced and then Shaq made it. All right, very good. Here's a segment we haven't done in a very long time that I like.
Almost a year.
Almost a year?
Almost a year.
Did you go find the last time we had done it, or are you just assuming that we haven't done it without you?
When I was looking at the document, the bank or whatever, so I had a bunch of stuff from like the last time. And so
because I don't think we did it when it was just us.
We did it one time whenever Beards wasn't here, but both of our things we reviewed was doing the show without Beards. We both gave it a 10 out of 10. We were in and out in 48 seconds.
True. Forgot about that.
Beards, let's do the first one. Go ahead.
Hang on.
Prepared.
TV fell asleep. I had to turn it back on.
Beards was...
I'm happy to see where his priorities are.
Beards was 8 feet from the board whenever I said that. So I'll set it up if you have not heard this yet, as most people probably haven't. It's great. I like this bit a lot. We have a shot clock, an NBA shot clock, 24 seconds. Each of us have a list of things that we would like to talk about and give a review for on some level to everyone. We have 24 seconds to do it. As the buzzer goes, we must be giving our score. We can do it just before, just a little bit of forgiveness. But our review for each thing can be 24 seconds long. And we got to give a score out of 10 to wrap it up. Do you guys remember how this works? It's been a while since we've done it. Rudy is still filling out his list right now.
What are we doing?
Excellent. Hit it, Beards.
Is this a college shot clock or professional?
Oh, no! Hotkey error, date violation. Wait a second.
Oh, my man.
Hang on.
I'm glad that we're doing this at 10:24.
Why is that not?
It's probably expired at the end of the year, probably. I don't know.
Actually, probably a pretty good chance of that.
You can figure. That's all right. You can figure it out as we go. I wasn't even sure which one I was going to start with. In fact, I think I figured it out now because it's just the one that's physically harming me a little bit at the moment, which is going to make for a pretty good review.
I'm gonna guess.
No, actually, I'm going to change. I'm changing it. I'm going to do a pretty standard one at the front end here.
Your harm is Baby Yoda the toy.
Don't spoil the funny ones.
Good point.
Let's talk about Kareem Hunt. This is a complicated story and a complicated situation.
Okay, we're good now.
I do have a question about
We're
one
good
of yours. I'm not going to say what it is, but one of them has, let's just say there's a -2, and I'm not wondering if something has passed.
This is good. No, that's good. I will definitely review that one. We will definitely get to that one.
We're good now. I fixed the issue.
I will go first. Let's hit it. My first review is of a music album. It is the Glass Animals album, Dreamland. It is a wonderful kind of vaporwavy aesthetic visually throughout some of the videos and the album artwork and everything. But it as an album immediately, every time, puts me in a better place when I'm listening to it in a way that I'm not sure any album has ever done 100% of the time. It was my top album of last year. I'd recommend listening to it. 8.5 out of 10. Beards.
What am I reviewing?
Your pick.
Oh.
It's your list.
Season 1 of The Alienist. I saw it on HBO. It's a psychologist that basically works with the New York Police Department in like the 1800s to solve a serial killer mystery or whatever. It's pretty good. It has very much a True Detective / Sherlock vibe to it. It's not quite as good as either of those, but the setting of it is very well done. I'd give it like a 7 out of 10.
Rudy.
I lost my page.
That's okay. Gotta wait for
Okay, here we go. So tonight at midnight is actually the debut of WandaVision. It's the first Phase 4 Marvel media project. The first 2 episodes are out. I'm very excited for it because it's been forever since a new Marvel's come out. And I believe Marvel has a setup to where they'll be releasing new content now every week for the rest of the year. Certainly most weeks. So I'm looking forward to how that's going to go and how it sets up the whole multi-dimensional thing. I'm 9 out of 10 excited.
Hit me, Beards. I'd like to talk about Hades. It's a video game I've mentioned briefly on this show before. I think it's my second favorite game of 2020. I might need to recalibrate a little bit here or there. That's Cyberpunk #1. Everything else is third. Hades is I think it's a roguelike. You die constantly and start back over, but it does a really good job of making that not a very punishing experience. It's fun. It feels good to play. It's like $20. Switch version is great. Little story in there also. I'm going to give it I'm going to go 8.5 out of 10 again. It's a good game. It's a good game and I like it. Beards. Turn on your mic first.
Yep. Avenue 5, another show that's on HBO. It's set in the future and it's on this space cruise ship. Hugh Grant is the captain of the ship. They get knocked off course to where it takes them now 3 years to get back to Earth over the original 8 weeks. It's basically just comedy through just chaos. It's not bad. I enjoyed it enough to want a second season. I give 6 out of 10.
Is that Hugh Laurie?
There we go. That's the name I meant.
By the way, when you said The Alienist earlier, because I was pretty sure it was a TNT show.
It's a TNT show that is on HBO Max.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say, yeah.
Yes.
Who did you
So
say
can't find
the
on
lead
HBO,
actor
I
was?
said Hugh Grant.
No, it's Hugh Laurie.
There
and
we go.
That is actually more alluring.
Yeah.
No pun intended.
Even though they don't look the same, they're both their names.
I had
Both
Hugh in my
they're
mind, and
both-
the first
yeah,
name that popped up was Grant.
It's
totally understandable.
it's on HBO. It's starring Hugh Hefner. Hit it, Rudy.
Just kind of playing off WandaVision, Marvel did release a mini show called Marvel Legends. Not really a show. It's just basically if you've ever been away from a show for a long time, you forget what happens.
Yeah.
The first episode was literally just a 7-minute recap of here's Scarlet Witch's story up to now, and then the second episode was here's Vision's story up to now. So that way you know it's been forever, you get a little refresher on the main characters that are in this show and where they're at. There'll be I give it a solid 7.5 out of 10.
That seems like a good idea. Hit me. I'd like to talk about a mobile game called Penguin Isle. It's an idle game. It says Isle. It's called Penguin Isle, but it's an idle game. You have a big island. You can get a bunch of penguins. It'll make money in the background while you do it. You can go through. It is one of sort of the most mindless, quiet little idle games. I downloaded it whenever I was in Florida seeing my family. I wasn't gonna bring out the Switch, but sometimes you want to play a little. You want to play with some penguins for a couple of minutes. It's like a 6 out of 10. But if you're looking for a little idle game, I don't hate it.
Sounds intriguing.
It's very pleasant. Beards.
Assassin's Creed Valhalla.
Penguin Isle, Assassin's Creed Valhalla.
I
Very
did not
similar.
care too much for the last game, which was set in Greece. I think it had a lot of issues. The new one came in and fixed basically every issue I had with the previous game. I love the setting in Old England is great. I enjoy the story, but it kind of petered out in the end. I would give it a 8 out of 10.
Rudy, that's your turn again.
So, as most people know, at the start of the year, The Office moved over to Peacock, and so far, actually, the experience, like the app works great, and the episodes have a lot of the deleted scenes from them. So, as I've been rewatching, I've been all of a sudden like, wait a second, I don't know what this scene is. So it's added like a little twist to the shows, and they have seasons also coming out called fan episodes, which is just basically the director's cut that are about 4 minutes longer. So I'm excited. So yeah, it's been a 10 out of 10 experience for me.
Are you paying for Peacock right now? Or are you?
Yeah, so you don't have to. Peacock, you can get it for free.
I think you can only get the first 3 seasons.
That might be true. Yeah, I pay $5 a month, which is not the full package deal. So it does come with like some ads, but it's never more than like 30 seconds. And every other episode, they're like, this episode's brought to you ad free by blank, and you just get it for free. I don't mind ads too much, but yeah, I just pay $5.
Tell me, Beards. Baby Yoda, the toy. I don't remember if it was for my birthday or for Christmas, but because they're 2 days apart. But my mother gave me a Baby Yoda like little plush sort of toy, but it's got like a silicone head with these big glass eyes in a way that genuinely makes girlfriend Renee actually uncomfortable. So I have taken to now kind of hiding it around the house, putting it in places she's not going to expect so I can stare at her. Really great. If my mom is listening right now, it has been a 10 out of 10 gift, even though, hit me again, Beards. When I got that gift, I had not seen The Mandalorian yet, but it was genuinely the inspiration to finally go and start watching it. I am through about a season and a half now, so Beards, you're going to have to go spoiler-free later.
Spoilers.
I have not tweeted about this, spoken about this on the radio because I do not want anything spoiled. It is very good. It is a Star Wars show, but the writing is incredibly clever. It's been very well done. I'm probably at a 9 out of 10. Very consumable. I've been very impressed, even though it took me like a year and a half to actually start watching The Mandalorian. Beards, why don't you review The Mandalorian Season 2? I'm going to take off my headphones.
Well, I was just going to... No, you can put them on. It's okay. Okay, fine. Mandalorian Season 2 is still very good, whereas Season 1 was a little bit more side quests that don't influence the main story that much in a couple episodes. Season 2 kind of pulls that a little bit together and it's a little more streamlined.
No one comes back to life?
It's still very good. I'm excited for whatever they do next.
Like the end of Game of Thrones
I would give it a 9 out of 10. Good stuff.
Disappointing.
What was I put my headphones back on. What was the number you gave it?
9 out of 10.
Really?
Yeah.
What did you give Season 1?
I'd say about an 8.5.
Oh, I've heard that Season 2 is like even better. I think about halfway through Season 2.
Yes.
It's very exciting.
Season 1 has my favorite episode, though.
Which one is that?
The one where they go on the prison ship.
Yeah, where, small spoiler alert, where Bill Burr is just playing Space Bill Burr. Really weird, but
I love
good.
that episode.
It was a great casting job, though, right? If you need Space Bill Burr, who better than Bill Burr?
Who should you hire? Probably just Bill Burr.
Yeah.
Rudy.
So I think masks are just going to become like part of my essentially just like normal life now, especially during the winter. Because guess what, guys? The mask doesn't just protect me and others from getting sick. It keeps my face nice and toasty. I wear it a lot even when I'm in the car because you know why? It keeps my face nice and toasty. And I don't like the cold, but you know what I do like? I like a nice toasty face. Makes my face feel nice and toasty. It's good. I enjoy it. It's a 10 out of 10.
Beards, if you don't have Rudy saying I like a nice toasty face into a liner in 30 minutes, I'm going to cry.
I marked it.
Is it my turn to go again?
Yes.
All right, here's something else I'm afraid to talk about on the radio, but I'm just going to do it. I've gotten about 90 minutes into Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. I know it's absolutely insane that I have a Switch and I've had it for like a year and change now, and I've not played Breath of the Wild, but I finally got it after trying to purchase it on sale 3 different times. Third time was the charm digitally. And also, it's just, I'm not a huge open world game fan, and again, I'm 90 minutes into it. Sorry, Beards, don't look at me like that. It's just true. But, man, it's a good feeling video game. It's just a video game that's made well and is fun and feels good. 8 out of 10 for the first 90 minutes.
I used to love open world games, and now don't have
That's
the time.
most of what I play.
I just physically do not have the time anymore to like really play. I've had Zelda for a year and a half before you got it. I have not beat the game because I just don't have the time.
I think it's the biggest disconnect in our trio of all being interested in video games.
I love them, but I just don't have the time to physically sit down and play them anymore.
I'm not even that intrigued by them at this point, which again, I'm not like snooty about it. In fact, I think you're probably playing bigger, better video games. But I like Animal Crossing. And that's just kind of that's just me living in my truth right
Video
now.
game's a video game.
Have
that.
you played Hades yet? Neither of you
No,
have played Hades
I
yet.
haven't.
I think pretty much anyone who likes video games would like Hades. It's a very satisfying experience. Back to Beards.
A book that I'd always kind of wanted to read but never got around to was Lonesome Dove. I'd seen the miniseries years ago. I'll review that next. It's about these two former Texas Rangers that get it in their head.
Like Nolan
to
Ryan
take a cattle drive from the Texas-Mexico border to Montana. It is a phone book of a novel. It's almost 900 pages. There are a couple spots that are a little sloggy, but then there are other spots where I read like 200 pages in a night and freaking loved it. It's emotional, it's sad, it's happy, it's all that stuff. It's a 10 out of 10 book.
I'm Coach's challenge here.
Okay.
Beards, did you read this or listen to this?
I read this.
Wow, you sat there and
Sure?
read the thing.
Yep.
Are we sure?
Yes.
Okay.
I believe you.
I wasn't doing,
I just want to double check.
I wasn't doing many card trips this year to do that. So
Great
I
point.
sat down
That's
and I read it. I got my grandfather's copy. It was his favorite book. He loved the miniseries.
Oh, so this is like an old.
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
okay.
You did definitely mention this at some point.
Yes.
Off air,
It's
I think.
excellent. I love it.
I think I have more. Do I have more topics than you guys do by a
Yes,
little
probably.
bit? All right, I'll go again, and we'll come back to Beard for the TV.
You mean Rudy? Rudy?
No. We're gonna bounce back to you, I think, so you can give us the TV version of that. I think you got one more than. That's all pretty close. I don't know.
I mean, one of these I didn't even actually write down that I don't actually even really do all that much right now.
Which one is that?
The video game trailers.
Oh, that's an old one.
That's from a while ago.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you did write that one down a year
I
ago.
did write it down.
Pass me the ball. I'm open.
Yeah.
I'd like to talk about my new boots. I got these boots off of Amazon, actually, but they're Timberland, like, Tim's, except for they're like Chelsea boots, which I like a lot. I feel occasionally like they're cowboy boots, and I now know why Beards feel so powerful and big, heavy boots. The toe on them is great. They're heavy. They're waterproof, which is the main reason I bought them. I like the style of them a lot. The issue is the sides of them have been digging into my calf meat.
Tall socks.
These last couple days. I've been wearing tall socks, and it's cutting through the socks.
You get some weenie-ass socks.
I've had pretty decent socks. I'm gonna keep trying. Right now, though, it's an incomplete grade. They're like a 6 out of 10. They're like a 9, except for the outside of my shin. Not my shin. What's the outside part? Like north of my ankle, it hurts.
I think that's where your Hagelin's at.
Yeah, it's really rubbing off on my Haglins. I'm really rubbing off on my deformity. But these shoes are day to day. I don't know if they have them in their spirit. However, their soul is great. Beards!
So Lonesome Dove miniseries. It has Robert Duvall and Tommy Lee Jones in the main parts. It's an excellent adaptation. There are bits that are missing just because it's hard to turn 900 pages into 6 hours of the miniseries. It's still really well done. It's really good. One thing I did notice, though, this time watching, now that I work in radio, the sound mixing is a little weird, where sometimes a lot of the background noise is really loud. I don't know if it was just the DVD version that I had or what, but background noise was a little too loud sometimes.
I've also gotten...
10, wait. 9.5 out of 10.
All right, thank you. I've also gotten very sensitive to that at times, where it's like, the mixing here is not, even on something like The Mandalorian, this fight scene is so loud. The dialogue is so quiet in 2 minutes. Why do I have to ride the freaking remote here?
I had a
You know what I hate? It's kind of like this, but it's whenever a lot of times how the intro of a show is way louder.
Yeah.
So where all of a sudden, you're watching, say, something on Netflix and you're binge watching, and the intro is super loud, so you have to turn it down. And then they get past the intro, and now you have to crank it back up, but you never remember to turn it back down.
Entering sector
before the intro comes back up.
We got
and then you're blasting your ears.
the 7 parsecs. Now, ready? Hey, guys, we're going to take off. We're about to take off on our ship. Pew, 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 pew.
It's frustrating.
Really is. Give it back to me again, Beards. I'd like to talk about maybe my second favorite album of 2020, I think. It is Chip Chrome and the Monotones, which is sort of a concept album from the neighborhood. They did like Sweater Weather and whatnot. Wiped Out, their album from 5 years ago, is the best thing they've ever done. Since then, they put out good projects, but not, I don't think, great projects. Chip Chrome and the Monotones is their best album since Wiped Out. It is a generally good time. The music videos are good. The aesthetic is good. I enjoyed it a lot. I think it's I'm giving out 8 out of 10s a lot today. We're all 8, 10 over here. Yeah. and justifiably so. I like that album a lot. Rudy, hit it.
So one of the few like sporting events that I get to watch is Premier League soccer, where like I don't have like it's just purely a fan. I don't have to like do any like work stuff.
Yep.
Everton, since I've been a fan of them, has been mostly mediocre, but not this year.
Uh-oh.
This year, for the first month of the season, we were in first place. We've dropped a little bit, but now we're competing for a top 4 spot still. Got a chance at the Champions League. That's a huge deal. Everton is having a great year. It's been 8 out of 10 because they're still 9 out of 10 because
season left.
Here's the thing: they're still I know I'm going longer. After that first month of being in first place, that next month,
offensive rebound, 14 seconds.
Yeah,
You're good.
That next month, it was brutal. Every now and then we have these stretches where you're like, oh yeah, that's that team. There we are.
Where they're in the table right now.
So we won our last game,
I know
but
terms.
there's been a couple games, so I'm actually not 100% for sure. I can have it in like 2 seconds though, because now I am curious.
Second offensive rebound, another 14 seconds. You're good.
Yeah, so we're in 5th. We are currently sitting in 5th, but we are tied. So second is Liverpool with 33 points. 3rd, 4th, and 5th are all tied at 32. We have the worst goal differential with Leicester and Manchester City, so that's why we are in 5th there and 3rd and 4th.
I did used to tell you guys which one you're about to review next, which just struck me.
Yes.
I was going to tell you this time. Beards, you got to save Cyberpunk for the closer, but give us something else now.
Okay. Let's see.
The Expanse, first 3 seasons.
Expanse, first 3 seasons. It is on Amazon Prime. It's really good. It's set in the future where Mars has been colonized, and there are also people living in the asteroid belt. First couple seasons basically about this Cold War that's going on between Earth and Mars. First season kind of sets everything up. It's got some good moments, but it's not amazing. Season 2 goes hard, and it's awesome. Season 3 is also really good. I'm on 4 now. 8 out of 10 show overall.
Most of mine, I'm starting to get to kind of like the reserve. So you know what I'm going to do? Rudy, tell me about the Pokemon 25th anniversary.
So the reality is there's not that much to say yet because they haven't totally given out a lot of stuff, but some of the stuff that they've given out, they obviously announced that there is 25th anniversary, and over the next month we will start getting specific releases. The thing I think is interesting, they're doing a music album essentially called P25 with Universal Music Group. And Katy Perry is the leading artist, and she's the only artist that we actually know of right now. But it sounds like there's going to be other major Universal Music artists. So, like, for me, it's 10 out of 10 excitement, but like it's a 5 out of 10 in the sense that we don't really know anything yet.
Totally fair. I would like to tell you about Scout 2 and
Electric Boogaloo.
And
what?
Scout 3.
Oh God,
Scout is the name of girlfriend Renee's dog. I, a while back, got myself a Scout 2, which is the name of my robot vacuum. Then at Christmas, I bought a robot vacuum for my family, and they now refer to it as Scout 3.
I thought Scout had died.
Robot vacuums beat ass. They're so good. All of them. I've got mine. The one I got from my parents is different. They clean up your garbage. They suck up dog hair. They suck up girlfriend hair. They suck up the crumbs that the dog and the girlfriend make in the kitchen. They are wonderful. You can find some on Amazon that are like around $70 or $80 if you find a good sale. Look at the reviews. See what people said about them. If you got $80 burning a hole in your pocket and you're looking for a sale for something nice, keep an eye out for a little robo vacuum. It's great. They're wonderful. And also Scout, the original, has not perished. 9.8 out of 10. Negative 0.2 point deduction because I actually... you have to like empty it out still, you know? I don't have the money for like the $600 one that like cleans itself, you know?
Does its own thing, yeah.
God, they're good though. How many do we have left here, guys?
I think I've got 2.
I've got 3. But
Beards,
really like one real one, I would say.
Rudy, pick 2 out of yours. Beards, give me your second to last one.
Right now?
Yes.
Okay. Better Off Ted is a show that is on Hulu. I really enjoy it. It's about this R&D, this team in a research and development company that's like really evil and out there, but like comically so. Like the first episode, they decide they're going to cryogenically freeze one of their employees just to see if they can. It's got some great workplace humor in it. I really enjoy it. There are only 2 seasons on Hulu, though. There are only 2 seasons, period, which kind of stinks. 8 out of 10 show. It's hilarious. I watched through it again recently. Rudy, give me your second to last one.
So apparently, so I bought this guide from Pokemon Center, and because of the time that I bought it and the amount of money I spent, they sent me this special promo Pokemon card that I just found out during the show is now being sold for $400. So, unbeknownst to me, I have a $400 Pokemon card. It's pretty cool.
It's pretty good.
Pretty good.
That's pretty good.
I spent like $20 on it.
And it's now worth way more than that
Now
already.
worth like $40. It's a pretty good 10 out of 10.
Can I ask real quick here, offensive rebound, is your plan to sell it as quickly as possible or keep it in mint condition, get it graded, and then hold on to it for a little bit and see maybe the price goes up? They're not going to reissue it, you know. It's only $400.
There's a chance neither that I'll just keep it, that I'll never grade it. Because, like, I actually heard a deal that the part of the pandemic has caused the, like, PSA, they're like 8 months backlog.
Oh,
so,
really?
Like, it legitimately takes like 7-8 months to get. Publitory was actually talking about this on ESPN Daily. It was fascinating.
Really?
Yeah, they did a whole card thing because like the card market is just exploding. Like all cards, Pokemon, Magic, sports, like Tops, all that stuff. Like it's mind blowing. More than likely, I'll just probably just keep a hold of it. And if one day all of a sudden it's just like don't get me wrong, $400 is a lot of money, but it's not like
you could buy like 4 Robo vacuums.
It's true, but if for some reason I ever see it like in 4 figures, then like we'll talk. Also, I guess I don't know that people are buying
Man, you
it
got
for
a shot
400.
clock violation a long time ago.
Well, Josh asked me the question.
I had a follow-up question.
I don't know.
Nobody got that.
I don't know if
rebound,
anybody is buying
I did.
it
I
for
think you
400.
back out. No, he's just been dribbling for.
I don't
James
know.
Harden. Yeah.
I don't know if anybody's buying it for $400, but they're at least being sold. Like if
That's
you want
the-
to buy one,
sure.
for $400. So I don't know if people are actually buying them or not, but yeah.
Kick me the ball. This is a bit of an older one. It's still on Disney Plus, though. Literally everyone should watch Hamilton. Have either of you watched it? Neither of you have watched it. It's really good. Renee and I got to see it in Chicago, like in the before times, and it was fabulous. It was back in the olden days, with like before internet and stuff. The Disney Plus version, it has the original cast. It is so well shot. It's very cinematic, but it is the play still. It's just great. I literally don't know who would not have some reason to enjoy it. It's a 9 out of 10. It's a very good experience. Everyone should watch it. Rudy, give me your last one.
Hold up. Go to Beards.
Well, no, Beards is on. Give me the ball back. Give me the ball back, Coach.
I'm trying to remember what this. Oh,
that's fine. Give me the ball back.
Because I was going to go to a Disney Plus musical. That's not.
That's fine. You've got it. Here, I'll give you
great.
this one quickly. This also has a Disney Plus show I haven't seen. Both of Taylor Swift's albums that came out kind of a surprise, Folklore and Evermore, they're both good. They're both a good kind of like wintry or like a kind of a fall-time vibe. I'll tell you what, I don't know if any of this is relatable to anybody else, but if you have to do like a pretty hyphy radio show until 11 p.m. on a regular basis, that whole 20-minute drive home is all about trying not to be that much on cocaine by the time you go to bed that night. Both of those albums do a pretty good job of, good little late-night drive home album. Collectively, they're 7.5 out of 10. Folklore has more discernible songs, but Evermore is also pretty good. 7.5 out of 10.
Nice. I'm good.
Rudy!
I don't remember when I watched this, but at some point, months and months ago, I was down at my hanging out with my niece, and she wanted to watch The Greatest Showman, which is a musical on Disney Plus about. Yes,
that one.
And honestly, Hugh Jackman killed it. I really enjoyed it. I'm not really a musical guy typically, but Hugh Jackman, Zac Efron, and Ty, they were all amazing, and I really enjoyed the movie. And it's like it's about the Barnum and
Bailey?
Barnum and Bailey.
I didn't even know that. You just got close enough.
That is what it is based off of.
Is that your last one, or do you have one more?
That's the last one. Yeah.
Give me the ball back, Coach. I'm talking about my AirPod Pros. I wasn't going to buy these, and then there was a sale before Black Friday. The last several things have been like me buying electronics, which is pretty bad for a lot of reasons. The AirPod Pros, though, they have the little in-ear like kind of gummy thing, which is pretty nice. It makes them a little more comfortable. The coolest thing, though, is they have a transparent mode and a noise-canceling mode. Noise-canceling mode, like on an airplane, literally, like it is incredibly quiet. Transparent mode, it uses the noise-canceling microphones to actually bring that sound into like the headphone mix, and it's a very similar feeling to hearing yourself through headphones, which the three of us all obviously do a lot. It is a very cool effect that I hope actually pops up in more like non-Apple headphones in the future. It's a very
there
cool
are a couple
thing.
I know that do that, but
It's
I think
very
Bose has
neat.
got some of those.
Yeah, it's very neat because it's not just noise canceling or not. It's noise canceling, not, and then the specific transparent mode. It's very cool. Rudy, what just happened?
I got 24 seconds. Give it to me,
Rudy!
Bears. I just found an article. Digimon apparently is releasing a Vital bracelet, so like a Fitbit, but it's also got like the Digimon on it, like the old Digi devices back in the day. So it's coming in 2021. It is an updated, basically Fitbit with the Digimon device. It's gonna cost $60. A special version costing $70. I think I have to own this. I mean, you get your Fitbit stuff and Digimon.
Oh,
You're
man.
welcome, world.
It's
You're
pretty
welcome.
good.
There's a new Digimon too. His name's Pulsemon. He's a vaccine type.
Is that true?
Yeah.
A vaccine type?
Yep.
Is that what you said?
That's what it says.
Is that a thing
That's
before
the
now?
thing.
Okay, are you done reading?
Yeah.
I'm done. Beards,
Yes.
I would like your shot clock review, and I am absolutely, right now, Rudy and I are boxing out the commercial break, and if we can get a rebound and kick it back out for 24 more seconds, if necessary, I am willing to. We're putting it all on the line here. Beards McFly,
Yes.
can we please get
Sure.
your 24-second
But first,
shot clock review
I need one disclaimer.
of Cyberpunk?
Mm-hmm. I have an Xbox One X, not the new generation. It's just a better Xbox One. So my play is different than other people's.
I thought you had the new generation.
No, I do not. No. Xbox has dumb names.
Yeah.
2077.
So, Cyberpunk. Man, it's really good. The story is excellent and well done. I like the world. It's a little empty in some spots, but like it's fine. The one issue I really have with it, outside of like, yes, there are bugs, but I'm not too worried about that, is that some of the side quests, like some of the back end side quests, which are a little less fleshed out than I would like them to be.
Kick it back out!
So for example,
rim!
in The Witcher 3, they had hunts, which were like you would go on these big monster hunts and whatever and do that, and they were excellent. They were very well done. In this, you have gigs, which are basically through local fixers or whatever, kind of criminal underworld kind of stuff. Those are less fleshed out than I would like them to be, and that kind of stinks. Everything else about it, though, is great. Exploration's pretty good. Combat's fun. The story, like I said, is awesome.
I'm on the loose ball. I'm on the ground.
Keanu Reeves, it's Keanu Reeves. He's pretty good.
20 seconds left in the game.
He's pretty good in some spots. He's, a little stiffer in others, but I really like
Big Ben scene.
It's really well written. I love all that stuff. I would give it an 8 out of 10. Room for improvement. And now we're just going to sit here and let it dribble out.
And the ball is hanging in the air.
It's like the Kawhi Leonard shot against the Sixers.
Yeah,
it bounces a couple times. 8 out of 10, room for improvement.
Bounce off the rim, onto the floor. Almost entirely sports loses. Did you see, Beards? This is not even a joke. I know we got to take a break in 1 second. I just want to know if you saw this or not. Rudy, if you saw this. You see that the DLC got delayed?
There's free DLC coming this year.
There is, but they're like big DLC. And listen, they did the right thing because they're focusing on like patches and stuff. But I saw the headline that someone wrote very smarmily saying like, "Oh my God, Cyberpunk 2077 just got delayed again." It's just elements of it, but it made me very happy. It's also fitting, Beards, that in Shot Clock reviews, you would need to go 3 times over the amount of time we thought you would need to get the review out about the game that needed 3 times longer in development than we thought it would need. I'm glad you've enjoyed your Cyberpunk experience, Beards.
I'm on my second playthrough. I'm almost done with it.
Founder of the company also apologizes for being ripped for his apology because it was kind of a fake apology. He swears they'll never make their employees have to work on crunch time again.
because Frank Bowl is so mean to them.
Okay, we got a break now.
Oh, yeah.
At JB Brisco, at Beards McFly, at Not That Rudy, at Sports Radio 810. Just do it already.
Hey everybody, Corey Anderson here. Join me this Friday as The Zone broadcasts live from Rally House across from Oak Park Mall. Come gear up for Sunday with the best selection from Rally House. Grab your new Chiefs gear and represent for the playoffs. Rally House has loads of jerseys in stock and select Majestic jerseys up to 60% off. They also have scarves, gloves, and hats to keep you warm at the game. So stop by Rally House at Oak Park Friday to see me from 10 to 2 with The Zone on Sports Radio 810 WHB.
Hi, I'm Fred Ramsey.
And I'm Mark Tobin. Hey, folks, if you're not busy Saturday mornings from 6 to 7 a.m., well, I hope you'll join us for the Midwest Outdoors, brought to you by Reed Chevrolet St. Joe.
Join us and our expert guests, and we'll be talking about hunting and fishing, dog training. We'll give you tips, pass along stories, and most important, share some laughs along the way.
That's right. We cover it all, from crappie to waterfowl, and we'll tell you how to cook it, too.
The Midwest Outdoors, brought to you by Reed Chevrolet, Saturday morning, 6 a.m. to 7 a.m., right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB.
At Central Bank of the Midwest, we are focused on building strong communities across Kansas City. I'm Bill Ferguson, President and CEO. Our strong roots began more than 100 years ago in the heart of the Midwest and continue today across 5 states and 67 communities. Central Bank of the Midwest brings you the best of both worlds. A strong community bank with the resources and technology to deliver a legendary banking experience. Central Bank of the Midwest. Strong roots, endless possibilities. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Prescription products require an online consultation with a healthcare provider and are only available if the provider determines a prescription is appropriate. Subscription required. See website for full details and important safety information.
Hey guys, good news. The outrageously expensive little blue pill is now generic, which means you can get the prescription medication to treat ED at affordable prices. And Hims makes it extra affordable. You pay just $30 for a month's supply. And right now, get your first online doctor's visit totally free when you go to 4hims.com/joy. That's right, free. Zero copay, no expensive appointments, no awkward face-to-face conversations to get your prescription. Hims connects you to doctors online who can evaluate you and, if appropriate, prescribe your ED medication. And a pharmacy sends it right to your door. Hims makes it affordable, private, and incredibly easy. Nobody likes dealing with ED. Now, thanks to Hims, nobody has to. And that's really good news. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, 4hims.com/joy. That's 4hims.com/joy for your free online visit. FORHIMS.com/joy.
Prime Lending, Kansas City's leading mortgage company, is excited for the postseason and to continue to cheer on our hometown team towards another World Championship run. Prime Lending is ready to assist you with a winning game plan on a mortgage to buy a home or to refinance your current home. Please call or visit any of their 10 KC Metro locations. You can also find them online at yprimelendingkc.com or call 816-600-4561. All loans subject to credit approval. Rates and fees subject to change. Prime Lending, a Plains Capital Company, NMLS 13649, is an equal housing lender.
This is Almost Entirely Sports with Joshua Brisco.
Welcome to the new show. I'll bleep it here on ESPN Kansas City.
Almost entirely bleep it.
Almost entirely bleep it. Hey, Beards, just for fun, just click a button on the recording computer. Just mark this just so we can see if we lose it.
He's afraid to hit a button.
I don't care anymore. I'm dead inside.
On Sports Radio 810, WHB.
The entire commercial break was basically me trying to convince Rudy and Beards to play Among Us with me at some point. You were talking about the Twitch stream and everything. Shout out to everyone who's been on the Twitch stream throughout this show. We got a few minutes left in tonight's show. I need you guys to just... Among Us is $5 on the Steam store or on itch.io or whatever. It's $5 everywhere. You can get it for free on your phone. Now, Rudy, you were saying that you tried playing it like mobile in like public lobbies, and it certainly does not have the same allure in that format. I can say confidently.
Yeah, and again, like I've enjoyed watching like people who essentially celebrities, famous people, entertainers who I enjoy playing it. And that aspect is fun. And I imagine there's some of that, again, that is when you know the people that you're playing with versus when you're playing with random people.
100%.
I was playing with a random person, and it was me and two other people left. There's three of us, and I knew, the whole time I've been saying, yeah, Brown's the killer.
Right.
And Brown was the killer, but Red was like, yeah, Brown's my boy, so like, I'm going to let him win. I was like, great. So like this whole game is just like, well, like, what's the point here?
Totally pointless. Yeah, no, the public lobbies are not going to give you a good Among Us experience. But because I've played once with intern TJ, I'm pretty sure former intern and little Chiefs boy Tucker Franklin would play. I played with Scott Chasen. I feel like we could get a little kind of AES crew together, pop in a Discord, stream that baby on Twitch.
I can see
it'd
that
be a
being
good
fun.
time.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't know. Maybe. Well, the issue is I was gonna say, well, if there's like it'll probably have to be like a weekend night at some point. When none of us are working, and we might be able to rope some of those people in and see who all, because we've talked many times over about like who would be good and bad at the game.
I don't think I'd be great.
No, but
I'm not a great deceptor.
Well,
it depends, I guess.
Deceiver?
Deceiver. If we're adding the video and audio to where I'm not just like typing them messages.
No, audio.
I play a good straight face. But like if I'm trying to think of like messages, to type, I'm terrible.
No. That's where the Discord comes in, and you can actually talk during the meetings and everything. It's a great game. It's wonderful. I mentioned Hades and Animal Crossing, but I think Among Us would be my third game of last year, even though it actually came out longer ago than that. Anyway, a little bit of a detour to round out the last hour of the show tonight. We'll do it again tomorrow. Come back 8 o'clock tomorrow night. Till then, bye, Mom.
You are listening to Almost Entirely Sports with Joshua Brisco on Sports Radio 810 WHB.
Get ready for the Chiefs and Browns with all-day coverage on Sports Radio 810 WHB. It begins at 8 a.m. with Chiefs Tailgate, then Josh Brisco hosts our Red Zone Playoff Special, and Seren takes over at 11 with the Central Bank of the Midwest pregame show. After the game, tune in to the best post-game show in town, featuring the latest from Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes and your phone calls. The best Chiefs coverage is right here on your home for the NFL playoffs, Sports Radio 810 WHB.
Schlotzsky's has just what you need to start the new year out right. All of their sandwiches and pizzas are made with their baked fresh from scratch sourdough bread. At Schlotzsky's, they offer curbside, drive-through, socially distanced